All right. Chat, are we here right now? Chat, is this happening? Hello, hello, hello. Hello. I'm unsure if anybody's even here right now.
Oh, it just went live.
Okay. I got delayed. All right. Anpan, yeah. Okay, there are people here now. All right, cool. There are individuals in the chat right now. Now here's the big test. See if this actually works. Obviously, it's gray right now because I'm not on Discord. All right.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Can you hear Dylan Bartholomew Miller right now?
That is my middle name.
Yes. Yes. Okay, we're gonna act like 8 p.m. stream
my
never
goodness.
happened. Okay, it just didn't. That's not
Yay.
something that happened. Okay. It's not an event. It's not canon in my my.
Wait. Someone got sub 5 again? That's crazy. Okay.
Oh, Tim got another so fun. Well, I mean, like, bro. Of course he did.
Yeah.
Of course he did.
Makes sense.
Yes. Okay. What am I even saying? Anyway. It's just me right now. You saw the title. Again, if you were here at 8 p.m., you already heard me say this. You saw the title. You know what we're doing today. We're doing a little coaching session with Dylan Miller. If you don't know Dylan, just a second. Let me jankily, if that's a term, switch scenes. And yeah, this is him right here. If you just want to introduce yourself again for the second time, just introduce yourself.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so I'm Dylan Miller. I'm like 13th in the world for 3x3 average. Been cubing since like 2014. Yeah, I started coaching like, I don't know, about a year and a half ago. Yeah, it's kind of like my full-time job, but yeah, that's pretty much about it.
All right. And you might have seen him on the channel before as well, because I did make a video about him and the whatever the solve was, 2.95 seconds. Yes.
Yeah, whatever.
That did happen. All right. So the plan today is, I think we're just gonna start with me doing some solves, I guess. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what the plan is right now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see like kind of where you're at. I've seen like some of your streams, like seen a few solves, and like that's why I wanted to do the stream because
yeah,
I was looking at some of the solutions and I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is a little bit interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if you just want to do some solves, kind of get it cracking. I have like some questions I would like, just like for some context.
Yeah, for sure. Here, let me switch these. All right.
But yeah, so are you like essentially like what would you say like you average, like what's your method, like, CN, dual CN, any of that?
Yeah.
Like how much can you plan in inspection? That's just like the main stuff to get like started on.
So, of course I use CFOP, I'm a basic boy. I also I'm white only, unfortunately, but we'll get that figured out at some point in our lives, obviously.
That's kind of tough.
That's something you can improve on, just straight up. But also, inspection, I say, like, I don't know. First pair, maybe half the time, but I'd like to do it more. I don't know, something like that. But, easy scrambles, I'm easily planning first pair, but,
Yeah, I got you.
Depends.
What do you know about like F2L? Like, I guess what do you think makes a good F2L solution? Because most of the stuff is probably gonna be like F2L.
Yeah.
There might be like some lesser stuff here and there, but the meat of a CFOP solve is your first two layers.
Yeah, of course. I think generally, isn't it like you shouldn't be doing more than one rotation, obviously. I think like rotations is one of my biggest problems, I'd say, that I have just straight off the bat, but I think like my main focus is trying to get obviously like 3 or less, like obviously aiming for 2 per solve, just enough to well.
I think 2's a fine number.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
mainly like what I think about it. I use pretty basic algs, I'd say, for F2L. Sometimes I
yeah,
just like
yeah.
do random terms for no reason, but yeah, it's
Do
mainly
you
just what I
like?
do.
Do you know like multiple solutions for pairs, or do you always just do like one solution for everything?
Um, yeah, sometimes like for EO, sometimes I do on like last pair. Like,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
what, I don't even know. I use like sometimes. Um, yeah, it just really depends on what EO is. I think not as much like influencing other pairs, which is
Yeah.
a skill you can have, but that's not
Hmm.
really like what I've done.
Okay, and then do you know like what edge orientation is like for so like for last layer, that's what you were just talking about. There's like, the edges of your like your for you your yellow edges because you're
Yeah,
white only.
yeah.
Um, but then like for your F2L, do you know how to tell if like an edge is oriented slash misoriented or
I
anything?
do. I don't really find myself looking at that as much as I probably should, but like I know
Okay,
like
yeah.
if the sticker's matching the side, then
Yeah, yeah,
you would
yeah.
not have to rotate
That's
stuff
huge.
like that. But I feel like I
Yeah.
should really focus on that more, like just doing like untimed solve stuff like that for figuring out EO more. But
Hmm.
yeah, I like understand the concept, I guess, if that's what you're trying to say.
Okay, then yeah, that's yeah. I mean, like if you're rotating a lot, it generally means like you are making like bad decisions based off your EO. So like for people that I
Yeah.
find that are rotating a lot, I like to tell them to like start taking that into account and like that can be like a really huge idea to
Mm-hmm.
get you to rotate better.
Yeah.
Um, because if you like say you have like one oriented edge and one misoriented edge, if like the misoriented edge looks nicer, you will rotate to solve it, and then you have to rotate back. So like you're doing two rotations for two
Yeah.
pairs when you could have just solved your oriented edge and
Okay.
then rotated and solved your misoriented edge. So like that's like you're reducing one rotation in that situation. So um yeah, that's something we'll talk about later, but like that's just like a little example of it.
All right. Yeah.
Um
That's
yeah,
probably
so I
huge
mean if
in
you want to
reducing rotations, I guess.
yeah, like yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I'll take a look at some of these solves.
All
I'll see
right.
kind of what's going on.
Okay.
Um yeah.
What am I doing? All right. Unfortunately, the scrambles are not going to be on screen because I'm just not good at the whole streaming thing. But we shall figure it out. Okay, here. I'll scramble the cube, and then I'll go back to him, and then I'll come back to the stream. All right.
Yeah, I mean if you want to do like an AO5, I just want to kind of look
Yeah,
at
I'll
some
do it. I'll
stuff.
do it in A5, sure. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get some jank cross solutions in here. And like lock up a lot. Sounds good, right? Lefty A perm, yikes.
I see.
Anyway, you see the entire problem with all of my solves right now.
I
You found the
wait,
last
what?
clue.
Huh.
All right.
I'm seeing something. You kind of did what we just talked about when it comes to like
Yeah,
rotating.
that makes sense, I guess. I rotated too much, of course. Let's not focus on that though. All right. What am I doing here? I think I could see first pair, but not really, and that's a problem. No, I did that pair wrong. And I did the cross one. But we'll just like do a U-perm at the end of the solve. Or we'll have parity on 3x3. Yeah.
Oh, there's an out for this.
Oh, there is? For that exact
Uh-huh.
case?
Yeah, I do it a lot.
wait for the like you have
Yeah,
adjacent parity?
for edge. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's
Here, wait. Let me go back
it's
to it.
like S or it's like S prime
Wait.
U2.
Wait a minute. You're not on screen real quick. Wait.
Oh no.
Wait. Your camera's not on for some reason. No. Yeah, lefty A permit's crazy. Wait, let me see. I can't see it. All right, wait, can you hear me right now? Hello? Hello? All right, I can't hear him for whatever reason.
Yo, am I good?
All right, yeah. Wait, can you turn your camera on? Wait.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, all right, all right.
Okay.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay, nice.
Okay, you're
Nice.
good to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my Discord was crashing. Okay, so yeah, there's an out for that.
Yeah.
It's like S prime, and then U2, and then I execute the like pinky, M prime, U prime, M, like that. So like M prime M, and then S. So you do it from this angle where it's like edge, and then kind of instead of it being like on
Yeah.
top, it's on left. So yeah, it's like S prime, U2, M prime, U prime, M, S.
And then you
And
get a Z
yeah,
perm on the bottom in that case, or is that just like for solving the two edges, obviously?
yeah, it solves everything here. So like if you did it
Oh,
from this angle, it would solve it, but if you do it here, it like solves it reduces both these edge flips to like a solved cube.
okay.
But what you had is you had this and then you did stack them on top and then you did like the parity alg, which you do that if you have like op on bottom and edge on top, then you do like OLO
Oh, and it solves
or
it?
like
Okay.
PLL parity. But if you do it here, then it gives you like UPerm on bottom. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that is something that I've had to learn because I do
That
mess
makes
up
sense.
cross a
Yeah, that
lot.
makes sense to learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in case that happens. All right. Wait. All right. Let me see. Where's my scene at? All right. I think I'm on the right scene now. I think. I'm not entirely sure. Oh. I'm cracked like
Oh,
that,
dude, he's
chat.
Timon, dude.
I'm literally
He's
Tim on.
he's Juanyi, dude. ZBLS ZB, dude. That's crazy.
That is actually, yeah, that is actually insane that I just did that. That did in fact happen though.
Yeah, that's pretty
That's in the
impressive,
lore
actually.
now. Okay. Let me figure this out. Okay. Am I on the right one? Okay. I could do it. Dude, why did I do it again? I think it's a reoccurring thing. Lefty outs.
Whoa. Oh, whoa.
Whoa? Bro,
Did
this
you
is
do
this is all
that?
I've
Is that
ever
like
known, bro. This is all I've ever known.
is that actually is that your main out for that case?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Blame
okay.
Dylan Wang. I'm sorry. This is not my fault.
I will blame, you know, Dylan Wang and I actually had a conversation. He came up to me at Nats and he was like, "Dude, we're both named Dylan," and I was like, "Yeah, that is true.
That is a true fact, yeah.
That is very true." Yeah,
That
I
is
would recommend doing an RUD out for that one. Believe it or not.
from the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I use that
There's the
for every
RUF one, but
control.
like
I know
it's
that one.
pretty mid.
Yeah, I've tried to learn
Uh,
that, but I'm like,
okay, that was your AO5.
I got one more. If
Okay.
you even want to see that, we'll figure it out. Alright. Where are we at? Discord. Alright. Wait a minute. No. Say wait a minute like this could be good stuff. Z-perm.
Okay.
Great Z-perm. Alright.
That was probably your best solve yet. You could
You
have
think?
done EO on fourth pair.
Right?
Um, but like decision making wise, that one was probably your best one. You did have like I don't even know if I can set it up. Uh, No, I probably can't set it up. But if
It's alright.
you, so like you had like a two pieces in the like FR slot,
Yeah.
and then what you did was like you split them up like RU prime R prime, and then
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah, yeah. I know
had
which
like a
case you're
five.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So instead of doing that, if you rotated and then solved them in the back like that, you'd have kept EO. Oh, it's like this, but
Yeah, but flipped. Yeah.
it's this, but like yeah, then the
From the right
right
slot.
slot.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you so you had it right, like you always want to insert the misoriented edge here. So like anytime you have EO and you have like a slot here, and
Right.
misoriented edge always goes in the middle layer or so here. And then what you did is you like solved them like that or
Oh,
something.
but you can rotate.
Uh, but yeah, if you rotate, now you're still keeping this misoriented edge in there.
Yeah.
So or like
Okay.
it makes it oriented or something. So yeah, I mean if you just like altered your solution a little bit, you would have had
Would have gotten
EO,
EO.
which like isn't the huge like the biggest deal because I mean if you don't know much ZB, you're not like missing out on much.
Yeah,
But
it's always
like
nice though just to have it. Like, if I know that
yeah, like in
solution.
general, like having EO, like you're more likely to know like a lot of the algs for cross cases preserve more pieces, so you're like able to better predict PLL going forward. So I
Okay.
would still try to get
Yeah.
EO there. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, okay. Yeah, the biggest thing here is going to be talking about edge orientation. I wrote down a few things. It was EO, first pair, and GC perm. So, um,
We're not gonna talk about that. I'll figure out the alg. I'll learn the alg. It's fun.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You want to learn the RUD one, especially from the AUF you had it. If you did like U2 and then the RUD alg, there'd have been no post AUF, which is like pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. I'll just learn that one.
But yeah, can you go to the second solve that you had in that AO5? So like what, three solves ago?
Yeah, I'll try here. The scramble second solve. That was the one where I messed up cross.
Yeah. Can you like send the scramble somewhere
I will
or
attempt. I will attempt to send the scramble. I don't even know if my Discord. My Discord's probably gonna be on screen, but it's okay. Here. Nothing for y'all to see, chat. Just send it in chat. My home address
okay?
is in Discord. All right.
Yeah, it is actually.
It's really
Okay.
unfortunate. Wait, let me
Okay,
scramble my
so
cube real quick. Let me scramble my cube.
yeah. I got you.
All right, and
So
we're
yeah,
back.
this is the
Okay.
one that made me think about the first pair.
Right.
Um, because okay, how would you think to solve this cross? Like, because
Right.
solve it, you know, with the edges in the right relation to each other.
Okay. I think I tried the solution. I would probably do U just from like green. Yeah.
Mm,
U R prime F U prime L2D.
okay.
And then I was looking at like red blue, but
Okay.
I messed up the cross, so it didn't work.
Yeah, I got you. So yeah, red blue's good here. Okay, so like, if you had to guess, what is like the best slot to solve a first pair?
Back left.
Yeah, back left. And then like tied is like FL and BR.
Yeah.
Almost always you want to avoid solving your first pair in front right. At least that's like how I think about it, because
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I've heard
it
that.
just makes your life a lot harder to do it that way. So if you can like heavily prioritize BL and then
Right.
uh just as fine as like
Yeah.
FL BR. So here like yeah, if you traced red blue here, that's like really good. Um
I'd probably do front left for that. Or wait. Yeah.
for red blue, you would do front left.
Yeah. That's how I solved the pair. Is that wrong?
Are you saying you would do like this? What do you mean by
Wait.
front left?
I do this solution. So I would like rotate and then solve it like this.
Oh. Oh
Wait, is that a
yeah.
solution that exists? Wait, what did you do?
No. Okay. I see what's happening here. Okay.
Oh no.
So you do L prime, which changes this corner's orientation.
Yeah. Oh,
And do
I'm
you know this case?
stupid. Wait, yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
look what happens when you do that. So here it'd be like U2,
Yeah.
and then okay. look what happens to this red-green corner and
Uh-huh.
this red-green edge when you do that. So like if you do
Oh
it,
yeah.
trace those,
Oh yeah. Okay.
you get a three mover.
Yeah, I don't have that type of foresight yet.
That's like yeah, that's like kind of a tricky thing to see. I mean, like I don't, and especially for a like F12 pair that you just learned, it's really hard to.
I
Um,
literally didn't know that solution. That's yeah, wait.
okay, well then, okay, yeah. Hopefully that helps you out.
Okay.
Okay, so when it comes to like edge orientation, right? You you can tell what's a good edge and what's a bad edge, right?
Yeah.
We we did discuss this.
Yeah,
You
it's
prime
U
B2. I don't know
prime.
why I'm not
Okay.
getting the same thing here.
You did B2. I did wait. Okay. I'll just tell you what I did from there. Okay. Green, yellow. I did U, R prime F, U prime, L2, D prime.
Oh, I see. Okay, so yeah, you did these as your first pair. So, um, the reason why you like never need to rotate for this pair is because it's an oriented edge, right?
Yeah.
So, especially with edges that are in this middle layer, what's an interesting property these have is that a rotation actually doesn't change their orientation. A rotation only changes orientation of pieces in like the top layer.
Okay.
So if you notice, like an oriented edge is something that's matching or opposite, um, like the center it's next to. So in this case, if we're looking at it from green front, red is matching red. So in
Mm-hmm.
this case, that's oriented. But if we rotate, now blue is matching green. So it's oriented no matter what. So like
Okay.
in this case, it's pretty tricky to tell if you need to rotate or if you need to stay from this angle
Yeah.
because, it depends on your second pair, right? Or like the pair you're going to do after this.
Yeah.
So here we would want to do the rotationless solution for like two reasons. I mean, kind of just one, but uh, if you look at your edges here, what is the orientation of like every edge? Because like that's something you want to start consciously figuring out. Like as you're doing this, is like, okay,
Yeah.
if I solve this pair, you essentially are trying to figure out like, do I need to rotate at some point after this pair? And like, if you do this one first, this edge is oriented, right? And we should be able
Yeah.
to tell that just looking at it
Because
here.
I do like, isn't it like that is the same or opposite to the right and left?
Yeah, so like if it's so like if you did a U prime, you could tell.
Yeah.
Um, but there's two ways to think about it. It's either like, okay, if it matches the side, then it's good,
Mm-hmm.
and then if it does not match the front, it's good,
Yeah. Okay.
right? Because if it matched the front, then it would be bad. So it goes both ways, and then same thing for like misoriented. If it matches the front, then it's bad, and then if it doesn't match the side, no.
Okay.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying.
I think I understand the concept. It's just seeing it in solves is difficult. So if
Yeah.
so after that pair, if you can see the
Mhm.
green red edge, then you know you don't have to rotate
Yep.
because it's oriented.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
Um,
sense.
hmm I think you had it here. So like you did I think maybe you did a U prime. Or if it was already here, um
Yeah.
either way, like even if you don't see the green red edge at the back, like the UB, that's
Uh-huh.
because that's hard. At least you would have this corner that gets taken out as well. And like again, this is an oriented edge here, right?
And it's the
So
same.
we could
Okay.
do like the same case exactly, like into
Yeah.
BR. And then if you did that, you'd be left with like all oriented edges for your last two pairs. So like this whole solve could have been rotationless.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, that all kind of starts with like finding the first pair and like knowing the
Yeah.
knowing that case, I guess, and like not rotating because
Yeah.
when you rotated,
Yeah, like that.
you did, and like even for here, right? There's like multiple ways you can do this. You either like set it up to a three mover or
Uh-huh.
you solve it.
Yeah.
Either way, it kind of depends on like what you do. Like if you did this here first, now you get like a free pair. If you do this, then it's a little different. But
Uh-huh.
this rotation left you with like not a bad case,
Yeah.
but
Not great.
uh, all your edges that you can see here are misoriented, and then this is the edge that we had initially. So we want to be comfortable like bookmarking stuff like this.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
from first pair we had from here, right? So
Yeah.
we just want to be looking at anything besides what we're looking at, or we want to be looking at anything besides what we're solving. Um, so like here, if you saw this is what you wanted to do, then you should at least notice this and like
Mm-hmm.
any other edges that you can find. So that way now
Now I know where
it
they are.
makes sense to like rotate back. And then again here you have like all oriented pairs. So like
Okay.
I think the big thing was just like your the way you like did your cross was like fine. It gave you all oriented edges, which like is a generally really good follow up that you want to be able to take advantage of. And like if you have
Yeah.
all or if you notice all oriented edges, like there really should never be a rotation in your solves. And
Okay.
then you know later on you
Yeah.
can kind of make that to where it's like you're forcing oriented edges more often. So
Uh-huh.
like top level CFOP is like kind of trying to be ZZ, but
Okay. I
you
guess
know
that makes
you're
sense. Yeah. Because like I know what EO is, but
mhm.
I don't think I really focus on it that much, like as much as I should to eliminate the rotations. Like if I
Yeah.
notice that in solves, because I don't really have like rules of when I should rotate or not, you know?
Mhm.
Because if I
Yeah,
see
my
that they're
general
all
like
like oriented, then
my general rule of thumb is just like make decisions based off like the majority EO count.
yeah.
So like in that particular example, right, we had all oriented edges. So if all your edges are oriented, then you should just like never rotate.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
and
that
then
makes sense.
the same thing goes for like if I have like two misoriented edges, I should probably rotate to solve them
Yeah.
to avoid anything like it just makes it's so it like people say rotations are bad. Rotations are not bad. You just need to know when to use them most effectively. Sometimes rotation
Okay.
is like the best thing that you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All
like
right.
slow solves and specifically tracing out like EO and stuff would be really helpful for you.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Because I like do slow solves sometimes,
another
but I feel like I'm just trying
yeah
to eliminate rotations without really thinking about how,
yeah
you
you
know?
want to naturally incorporate um naturally incorporate a rotation as if you can. And like in order to be able to know when to do that, uh you need to know your EOs. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would especially for dual CN solvers, like you're recognizing EO is a lot easier for you because you're always looking at the same edges every time. So
Hmm.
that's like a real benefit that you get. So that's
Yeah.
something that you should really try to
Yeah, I'll try to focus on that a lot
work
more
on.
than I do.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of
Also,
sense.
like if you do this solve, can you think of a way to preserve this pair like at all?
Let me scroll the queue real
Because
quick. I usually do janky ways to preserve first pair. If I do. Let me see what I have going on here.
I think this is like a really good example of like looking at this type of stuff.
All right, here. Um. So like the main way, which probably isn't very good, but if I like insert this edge, but I insert the pair with it, and then I
hmm
could do something like this.
Yeah, that's actually good.
Okay.
That's nice.
I guess
Okay,
that makes sense. I don't know.
yeah, that's fine. That like there's like a few different ways you could have done it. Like the way I was thinking was something like So what you should notice is like the way you solved this pair,
Right.
you left it misoriented, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something to consider.
Uh huh.
Um, the way I'd have thought about it was like, because for me, I try to prioritize like oriented first pairs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have done R prime F L2,
Okay.
and then I would just do F prime and then insert this,
Oh.
and that would
Okay.
have been
Yeah.
the solution.
Okay.
Um,
That's interesting. I didn't
which
think about
like
that.
is maybe not the best way. Um, but okay, so you have this as like your continuation from here, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Um, so you have two options. You can either like do a hedge or you can rotate to insert.
Probably in this situation, I would rotate, do back right,
Exactly, yeah. So like
because
you're
front
solving
right
it,
sucks.
yeah, front right sucks. You're solving it in a better slot. And then also like do you notice anything about
Oh yeah, and then I can do
edges like
orange blue
exactly.
because it's oriented. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So we did a
Okay.
rotation, but we were able to deal with two pairs with one rotation, which is what you always want to go for. Like the only cases where this doesn't apply is when you have like a flipped edge in its slot for and like or like diag pairs. Sometimes like you can really get messed over with stuff like that, which is why I would generally
Okay.
recommend avoid diag pairs.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I've heard that
so
before.
yeah, here like this is perfectly fine to do like in back right as well.
Yeah.
So
And then it would be
okay, so
so from here, like if I'm just thinking about what you said, it means that if I do this, so this is obviously not oriented, um, and
quick
this,
question: How
what?
are you gonna do this lefty?
Am I gonna? I'm gonna do this pair lefty. Yes, orange blue.
Okay, so you had it from a U. So like you had it from here,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
This is
Well,
where you had it.
so if I'm
If
just
you
like
have the
thinking,
option,
or sorry, you
you
just
like
could
almost
continue.
always want you just always want to always do righty with this type of thing. Because like
Yeah,
if your option is either U prime all lefty gen or like half lefty half righty, I would
right.
rather do righty.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like thinking about it from whenever I'm like slowing it down. But I feel like in a solve, I would just see this and immediately bring it front, insert back.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, I would just yeah, I guess for me my general instinct is just like put it to the back and then do righty. I think like prioritizing righty turning is like super huge. Um
Yeah.
not just cuz like not just cuz you like righty turning is like typically faster, but
Uh-huh.
I noted like I've noticed in myself like I generally will like the area of effect, I guess, is how I
Mm-hmm.
would think about it is like where I'm looking is this front right slot and like these first few pieces.
Yeah.
So for me to do this lefty here, the pieces that I'm generally tracing most of the time aren't being affected. So it's a little bit more uncomfortable for me to do this, and then especially with like the fact that my lefty turning is generally worse than my righty. I would recommend like yeah, just try to do this righty if you can.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more
But
sense.
yeah.
All right. What was I saying? I was just trying to look at EO here. I think just from this position,
Mhm.
I had it right here. I was okay. So green, red is obviously misoriented, and then that's like the first pair that I would see probably, and then
Hmm.
the other pair is also misoriented. Or wait, yeah, wait, no, it isn't. I'm stupid because this is matching. So if I did this, then I would have to. I wouldn't have to rotate if I do blue red next. Correct?
So okay, what's interesting about this is like yeah, another good thing is like if you do this righty, you're actually taking out this red blue edge. Which is something you don't get if you do it at lefty.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. I see that.
so this is a misoriented edge. If like an edge is flipped in its slot, and the same thing goes for what I said earlier. Like if I rotate here, this edge is still misoriented.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, here if you do RU prime R prime, um, blue is going to be the top color.
Uh huh.
And if blue is the top color, then that means that it cannot be on the side. So this is going to be misoriented edge. So this R move and then this U move disconnects it, and now this EO is determined.
Yeah.
So it is going to be misoriented. Um, and
Okay.
then yeah, you would do like your solution from there.
Okay.
But if you notice, like both of your edges are misoriented now, right?
Yeah.
So again, one rotation to solve two pairs, that works out fine. So like like
Okay. Yeah. So I noticed both of them are misoriented. Now I know that I can solve both of them without rotating.
yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes more
Yeah,
sense.
so I mean, that's like, does thinking about that in terms of EO kind of make sense as like what your thought process should be going forward? Like,
Yeah, I like that's definitely like the main thing I should focus on now that I'm thinking about it is
yeah,
focusing on
because
like do you think that you like consciously notice that during solves or is that just like eventually obviously you do like 10,000 solves you would just do it
yeah,
unconsciously. But
well, yeah,
did you ever have a point of like where you were doing that consciously and you were thinking about it?
Well, yeah, like more so in the last like year, I've been doing this consciously. Like
Okay.
over time, I realized that there was situations where um intuitively, like I was like, okay, this is a good situation, and I didn't know why. And then when I kind of understood the idea of like edge orientation,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of opened my eyes as to like it kind of put to into words like why these cases that I recognize as good intuitively were good.
Okay.
And then when I like learned about EO a little bit more, I was able to like then consciously recognize it, and now I'm able to like make decisions informed instead of just like off vibes, I guess.
Yeah. 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 I'm definitely doing off vibes right now, which is why I
Yeah,
should
like
learn that. Makes
so
more sense.
you kind of want to ground yourself in like more um logical decision making rather than just like instinctive ones, and that's where like solve overhauls kind of come in, and like it's
Yeah.
that is like a long process to actually do, but
Yeah.
I think of like that is like this is like a mindset shift that you start having, or like even if you just start recognizing the stuff in slow solves, um, your intuition will get a lot better over time. So like I kind of did the opposite, where I consciously understood some of the stuff and then got better with it. But I think
Yeah.
obviously the better way forward is to understand this at base and then build off that and then get better intuition, right?
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, I think. If I just start focusing on that more.
Yeah, because I mean like that's where like a lot of your rotations come from is like you're either so like sometimes you'll do like a rotation then a rotation back, and
Yeah.
you can you can avoid that situation from happening in the first place, right? If you just
Yeah.
like deal with
Just
the
noticing
EO
that. Yeah.
well. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's kind of about it on this one. Like the way like there wasn't much to say on like your initial solve continuation because like I said,
I mean,
you
I
had all
well,
E oriented
yeah.
edges, so like it's just a matter of like doing it in whatever order and like not doing an unnecessary sledge or something, or like
Yeah.
or rotating when everything's oriented.
Okay,
Um,
yeah. If I have like,
but
let's
yeah.
say I have last slot, what am I doing? If I have like this,
Hmm.
would you always do hedge in this situation, or does it heavily depend on EO what you're gonna get, or like?
So you're saying this is my
Because
fourth pair?
yeah, let's say that. If it's your
So this is
fourth
my
pair,
fourth
you
pair,
usually
and
do it, right? You do hedge.
well, it depends on EO. Like for last layer EO.
If it's like, let's
Um,
say, wait, how would I even do like an EO? It's just kind of random, or no?
are you
Like
saying
if it's
something
like
like
this, and you're not gonna do anything crazy here, right? It's
Oh,
either gonna
well, I
be an
would do
L
something
case or
crazy
it's just
here.
gonna be you would.
Yeah.
All right. Well, even if I like, I'm probably not gonna learn this in any time in the future because I'm not gonna learn crazy ZBLS stuff or like slightly advanced ZBLS
Well,
stuff.
the
What is the? Do you know
let me
the
see.
ZBLS here?
Yeah.
Just do like a line case OLL and then do a sledge or something.
Oh.
Yeah, and then do a
Oh
sledge.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So look here. Uh, so I do this log from here or from here. If I get it from here, I do like it's RB gen, but here you do R B U B prime R prime.
Right. So see, like, I don't think I could see myself doing that in a solve, just from like
Yeah.
recognizing that. But like, if you had two options and it was just hedge or sledge, you would just hedge it, right?
Uh, yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of depends what my last pair was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
But
makes sense.
like if I'm in position to do hedge very comfortably here, then I will do hedge. Um,
Okay.
if I don't feel very comfortable here, then like I can very easily do like a wide
Why do
D
yeah.
rotation like this and then insert. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
those are my two options.
Because I
But
like
like I said,
always
it
do
depends
hedge
on.
here.
Yeah, I would say like you need to vary your stuff up based off like your like you need to take
Your
into
last
context
pair.
like the entire
Yeah.
F12 leading up to this, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think generally here I'm more prone to rotate and insert than I am
Yeah.
to do a hedge, if that means anything.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Just asking about that. All right.
Whoa, you do lefty E perm too? Is that another Dylan Wang thing?
This is another Dylan Wang special. Yes.
Okay, cool.
A perm,
Uh,
G perm, E perm. And I don't think
Oh,
do
buddy.
you think I don't think E perm's that bad. Like it's not that bad.
You should at least do the zoomer alg. Like do the
Like I
rotationless
can
one.
do righty E perm, but like it's just slightly not as
Well, like
fast.
here, there's like a RUD rotationless one.
Oh yeah, with
So normally,
commutatives, yeah. I don't
yeah,
know the
it's like
algo.
R prime D prime, R prime D prime, and then RU prime R prime D, RU R prime D prime, RU R prime D R2.
Do you use that one?
Yeah.
Is it like objectively better or
Uh, I mean, Lou Garrett still does the rotation one, and like he's good, and
yeah,
like the Alex still probably fine. But I've noticed like a lot of people switching to that one.
yeah,
I
just
think
learn
it's
more
better,
instantly.
but
Yeah.
like, mm, it's probably like about equal.
It's okay. It's equal. Yeah.
But I mean, do you feel comfortable doing lefty moves in last layer? Because I feel like,
With E perm, like I do it so much, it doesn't matter. With G
yeah, you
perm,
got
I need to
reps.
switch the alg. With A perm,
Okay.
what do you think about A perm? I think
Lefty A primes are fine.
yes, because like some people just rotate the cube and then do a lefty A perm. So
Yeah, like, yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, I think the only benefit to doing like righty A perm would be that you can benefit from doing calm A perm as well. If
okay,
you
yeah, from that angle, I mean, it
if you
depends.
like, cause yeah, if you have it from like a angle where calm A perm is like super useful, um,
Yeah.
like they the two algs pair well with each other more so than like a lefty A perm into a calm A perm, right? Because the grip shift is different. So like
Okay.
they kind of divulge between each other, and it doesn't they don't play together as seamlessly as like lefty A perm plus calm, which isn't the biggest deal unless you want to save like AUFs like every
Yeah.
few times you get A perm.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a pretty uh,
Yeah.
specific thing.
Like when I get it from that angle, I
Uh,
try to do that alg, but I don't
yeah.
think. I mean, it's like whatever for that.
I mean, yeah, the algs are pretty much equal. I'm just saying, like, in order to avoid bad AUF cases, especially for A perm, where like you are in like a slightly awkward grip and like some AUFs can be dubious,
Uh huh.
um,
Yeah.
you benefit a lot from having like multiple algs that pair together. And I'm just saying that the
Hmm.
start of the two algs that you could do don't really pair well. Like, it's not the same grip. So like anytime you see an A perm, you can't kind of like have one approach and then like divulge from that. You have
Hmm.
to recognize and then grip shift, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I understand what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
So for algs, I think that's like pretty much all I would need to change. I think OLLs I don't like do anything
Yeah,
too wild.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you can keep your lefty A perm, your lefty E perm. I think
Yeah. I don't think that's
I
too
think
big
you're
a
rocking.
problem. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if you
Let's just
if
here.
you want
Let
to send,
me. Yeah, let me send another scramble.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is kind of like this is what I normally do with people I'm coaching is like we'll run through like 5 scrambles, and I'm like we'll just kind of go through and like talk about their thought process.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Let me see. Scored. Go over here. Went. Okay.
if you want to like gen like 3 scrambles, oh, okay,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you could
Facts,
just
facts,
like
facts. They send the third solve, the fourth solve, and the fifth solve.
yeah,
All right. Send
yeah,
the
I think
scrambles
like the
to.
biggest thing for you is gonna just be EO, because like I did notice that you would do a lot of rotations,
Mm.
and like when you're not all your decision making should be like solely based off EO. You know, you should also take into account
Right.
like if doing like in that other instance, it's like if I have the option between doing it 2 different ways, like in that second pair we had, it's like if I either do it lefty or righty, like that does change my F2L a lot, even though like that's kind of a difficult thing to recognize and like
Yeah.
do in a speed solve. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Let me do the first scramble. Scramble 3. Beep.
Also, like you should start a yellow only session like today,
Okay, yeah.
and
I've like
and like
tried to do it before,
do
and then I always just
yeah,
like I'm like whatever, you know.
like yeah. The time is now, dude. Uh, Dual
Like
CN's the meta. Like
how like wild of a difference is it? Like, is
I
it
mean,
like
like
where you can survive anymore doing just one color, like at a decently
I
high
mean, I
level?
know I talked to Dylan Costin like a little bit, and like he's
He's
like
white
low
only.
7 with white only. So
Yeah, it's
I mean, and like I think one of the Vire brothers is like white only, and he's like a 6.0 average or something. So it's like you can be
yeah,
good with it, but um, the reason why dual CN is like has become like kind of meta is because you're a like rather you see further in the solve, but
uh-huh.
in order to like take advantage of that, you have to really be able to like diversify your starts in order to make better situations for yourself. And if you only have white to look at, you're just making your job 10 times harder because
Okay, yeah,
uh you know, if yellow is like 4 moves and like double X cross or something, it's like obviously you want to be able to do yellow.
yeah.
Um
I get where you're coming from there. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let me just
yeah.
scramble up like multiple cubes so I can not do
Like
this.
in this case I would do yellow.
Yes. Okay,
Actually,
excellent.
maybe not. Oh, I don't know. This one's weird.
I think I average right now, like on regular 3x3, just regular, I would average like low 10, high 9 on yellow.
Hmm.
Last time I did it, I maybe was like high 11. I'm unsure.
Oh, okay. That's
It's
like
not
not that bad
terrible.
of a
Like whenever I get
discrepancy.
like a crazy scramble, I'll do yellow, and it's like I can
Yeah.
get sub 10 on that, but I don't
Hmm.
like I'm not garbage with it. Like I could probably do it
Like
like
your
a
best yellow
month or
solve is
so.
just like an average white solve.
Yes, yes, I would say that.
Yeah, so it's like yeah, that does, you know, disincentivize you from doing that a lot.
Yeah, but
So
if I
that
practice
makes
it.
sense.
All right, this. Oh, what did I? Okay, I think I know what solution I did. On this I did R prime. Wait, did I do that? Oh yeah, wait. R prime, B prime, R, U, and then just insert the last two edges.
Okay.
And then I don't think I trace first pair in this solution.
That
Um,
is
if I
okay.
just if I just look at if I'm like because I'm like doing EO things right now.
Hmm.
I would probably
So
on the scramble I'd only see two pairs just from like doing the cross
yeah,
from this position, and I know
that's
that they're
understandable.
like one's oriented and one isn't. So I'd do the
Yeah.
oriented one, and then I'd know I have to
Okay,
rotate
so
for this.
yeah, like okay, generally we want to work off EO, right? But in this case you have like a 3 mover. Like it's not all
Oh
like
yeah, wait,
it's not
facts, okay.
always yeah, yeah, yeah. And so
Okay,
it's
that
like
makes
it's not
sense.
solely off EO. Like you do have to take into account
Yeah.
you know, is this pair easier than the other significantly, or in this case it's does doing the oriented edge make my next pair significantly worse than it is right now?
All
And in
right.
this case, not significantly worse, but yeah, it's worse.
Yeah, so
So like
if I did
if you did this
that,
first,
then I'd have to rotate again after that, right?
yeah. So if you did this, you would have to rotate for this pair
Yeah.
until you like. So say we rotated here. This is gonna be misoriented until you do something with it. So
Yeah.
you might be stuck with something like that, but you know, sometimes you might want to save like a misoriented edge for later, in case like you can play around with it and like make something out of it.
Uh-huh.
Um. Okay.
What's this one?
Yeah. But like if you did this as your first pair, which this is like you can't go wrong doing it this way, but
Hmm.
there may be something better doing
Yep.
it like breaking the rules a little bit. But yeah, doing it here like if you want to operate solely off like if you want like a general rule of thumb to work by, do the oriented edge every time, or like at least like the majority of the edge count. In this case, you can't tell between the two. So like if they're even, just do the oriented edge. If you have one misoriented, one oriented, just do the oriented one. That will always result in one rotation. And then there's like some edge cases with like pairs that you can do
Yeah.
without rotating. Like this one, if you set this, like if this is your last
Yeah,
pair,
that's
like
my
you
main
still
out
do
for
a
that
F.
one, yeah.
Exactly. So it's like it's actually not that bad. So
Yeah,
there is like
okay,
some stuff
yeah, I
where
see
you
what you're
can.
saying, yeah. So for that one, if
um
I insert it into the back, then I'd probably just have to do orange green, right? That would like be the best pair from here
you
because
think orange or green is the best pair
I
here?
would just rotate and then insert it in the back.
Oh, so you're saying you would rotate again?
Rotate again, insert into the back, yeah. So
Okay,
go like
yeah.
this, pair.
Um, the reason why we might not want to do that
Mm-hmm.
is because of this edge here, right?
Yeah,
So what you're saying is, so we rotated once.
yeah,
Now we're gonna rotate again,
and
and
solve
we're
it in the
still gonna
back.
have this edge. So this edge, like we can essentially chalk this up as like what, like +1 to our rotation count, because
Oh,
it's
because it's
whenever we
misoriented.
take it
Okay,
out, it's misoriented in its slot. So
yeah,
generally,
still.
whichever way you solve this pair, which is going to be like L prime UL, is going to give you a misoriented one, or L prime U prime L is misoriented. Only if you do an F move insert to this pair or to this slot is it going to give you an oriented piece, right? Does that make sense on that?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So
All right.
so if we're from here with that information, we either want to solve this pair without rotating, so like we could do something like U prime R U2 R prime and then F moves, or we would just want to get this pair out of the way now.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
So, or, all right. I think, yeah, that makes sense. Because this pair on the right, the edge wouldn't be moved out of its slot at all, and it would be oriented though. So, would you ever consider doing this next pair, blue orange, after doing this, in case
um,
I even get here? Because it like comes out of its slot and then
oh, so you're saying you would do this here and then you would do blue orange.
yeah,
Yeah, that can work out fine.
yeah. I understand what you're saying
It's
though with
like
the
in
EO from here.
yeah. Like yeah, here the one thing you want to take note of is when you're solving this,
Mm.
how are you gonna do the ending? Are you gonna do like U2 LU prime L prime or like U prime
For this
LU2 L
pair, I
prime?
always do U2 insert.
Oh, so you do U prime LU2 L prime like that?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's nice. In this case, like this is probably better because this orientation is a lot cleaner for this specific pair. If you did if you did U prime, if you did U prime, you would get
yeah,
this, and then now you have like a slightly more awkward pair here.
yeah.
Um,
But
like
I
so
wouldn't
say
notice
you
that in a solve. Like I would just do my regular insertion, like how I do it regularly.
I see. I
Like I would just
see.
insert it like that.
Yeah.
I have to check there, so. Yeah. So would you change it up like depending on what your next two pairs are gonna be? Obviously.
Yeah, you want to like start recognizing which of those two inserts is going to be better for you like long run on like your specific pair.
Yeah.
In this case, like this corner positioning is slightly suboptimal compared to if you had it like twisted like
Uh huh.
orange on top.
Okay.
Um, would you rotate to do this solution? So, okay, this is like a
Yeah, I would
pretty
rotate to do that. Yeah. I mean, you could do like F
okay,
moves to
so
pair it, right?
yes, can you insert the
How did I
orange?
insert this one to get?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so from here. How would you deal with this last two pairs? Because this is really interesting, right? So we
Mm.
have two misoriented edges and they're flipped in slots. Okay?
Okay.
Um,
I see what I would like think about doing now, but what I would probably do in the solve is just take this out and then rotate. I think because I would notice that this is oriented like right now, and then I could do F moves and then insert the pair and then not have to rotate. Correct?
yes.
Okay.
Well,
What I would do though is this, like take the edge
yeah,
out
you
and
do
then
this.
rotate, insert, and then I have to rotate again.
Yeah. Well, for this pair, you can. Okay, this pair specifically, this is a
Oh,
really
that
nice
gives you
solution.
EO, yeah.
Yeah, if you do, you can do
You can do
like
that.
RPM2R and then like wide F insert. So this one, yeah, you would do wide F insert here.
Okay.
Because this sets up to three mover,
Uh huh.
and you're gonna get EO. So like, there's no reason to rotate. You can do like RPM2R, U prime, FR, F prime.
Yeah. I don't really use that ever. Should I ever like start doing that? What do I even
Uh,
do? I did. I did it wrong. There.
um, okay, it's a very
Specific depending on the case.
yeah. Like as you kind of get more in tune with F2L, you'll realize that like
Yeah.
a lot of it is like pretty circumstantial.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Can't do ZV either.
Like you're gonna choose stuff like the better you are at understanding your F2L, of course you will deviate from like your predetermined like standard cases in
Okay.
order to set up better situations for yourself.
All right.
Um,
Yeah, that makes sense.
like your standard solution is kind of like the building block of like all of that.
Okay.
Um,
It just changes
so
depending
yeah,
on what you
here,
have for other F12 cases.
yeah. So here you did this, and then we said, yeah, we said this. Okay, and then here, like that. Okay,
Insert.
yeah. What I like that ended up being a good solution. Um, generally here though, I think the best way to do this is just like
Yeah. Okay.
if you solve this one with F moves, so you would take it out, but if you rotate, we noticed that we have a misoriented edge here.
So you solve it with F
So what that
moves.
means, you solve this with F moves, and now you have an oriented pair here.
Okay.
And in this case, like it doesn't actually give you a better situation, but everything that we're like doing with the assumption that like our follow up will be better, right? We're trying to just
Mm-hmm.
find the best two pair approach, and like if our follow up is worse, our follow up is worse. But
Yeah.
if you are approaching it like this every time, then on average, you will have a better F2L, right? Does that kind of make sense? Like,
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of
yeah,
sense. Yeah.
like yeah, it's not you're not always gonna get like the best continuation, because like sometimes it's just unlucky. Like
Uh
you
huh.
can do the best thing and then you just get messed over at the end. So, um, yeah,
Okay.
I would say here though that like even if you're from this angle, there's a lot of merit to like a bunch of different approaches here. I would say generally like you don't. Okay, so we had our we had our cross from here, right? So we did
Yeah.
this is the three mover first.
Yeah.
So we did the three mover. Then what you're saying here is that we're gonna pause and then we're gonna rotate. Like
Mm-hmm.
generally, like if you, it only makes sense to do this again if we know that it's gonna be right. Like if we know that we need to do another rotation from here to like find the better solution.
Okay.
So in my head, I would have just dealt with this problem piece first. Um,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
noticed that this is a misoriented edge. That's fine. Um, like my rationale here is that this is going to be my slot in the back.
Yeah.
So again, I wouldn't want to. I would do F moves, so like F prime U F, and
Uh huh.
then R prime U 2 R. You could. There is merit to do something like R U R prime U and then wide F R F prime. There is merit to doing something like that.
Uh huh.
Me personally, I just prefer like F prime U F, and you'll notice that F prime U F is like actually a little bit cleaner here because now we have two misoriented edges. This corner is
Uh huh.
inserted, and I also took out this edge at the back. So the way we had our last two pairs, where we ended up with two flipped edges,
Yeah.
by doing red blue first, we ended up avoiding all of that. Um, so now again, if we have two misoriented edges, we make a decision based off majority edge count. We
To
rotate, and
rotate.
now we
Okay.
have RU spam for our last two pairs.
Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
So like, does it kind of make sense how we got to that point?
Yeah. So you see that you have the misoriented edge on green orange, and you have an edge in its slot, or in whatever slot that was, and then you take it out because like everything else is kind of garbage.
Yeah. For me, it just makes the most sense. Because I wouldn't want to do this first. If you, because again, right? If I do RU2R prime here, um,
Yeah.
this becomes a misoriented edge. So I'm forced to rotate, and now I have a kind of bad last two pairs.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do something like I don't know, multi like pseudo like that or something, but like that's really hard to see in a solve,
Yeah.
especially for where we're at right now.
Yeah. I'm not doing that
Um,
in solve. All right.
so yeah, that's like
Yeah.
the main idea here is just like the reason why we do this is because it's the problem piece. We notice
Mm-hmm.
if we do this pair, this is still the problem piece, and I'm gonna have to rotate. So
Yeah.
deal with this one first. Make it good. So F prime U F, and then R prime E 2 R. Now again,
Yeah.
misoriented,
You
rotate,
rotate.
and then all you spam. So like you kind of notice how like we're just getting cleaner solutions. Like this is like
Yeah.
it if you like if you look at this type of idea and then now go back and look at Yihang's solves and like with the context of
Of
EO,
those. Yeah.
you'll notice that he's dealing with it in this type of way. Like I don't know
Okay.
if he's
Yeah. Yeah.
consciously taught this as like drills or whatever, but I noticed that this is also what I meant by like top level CFOP is like just better ZZ because you're
Mm-hmm.
ending up forcing EO well, but you're taking advantage of the fact that a rotation solves EOs at times as opposed to just solving everything at once and then going from there.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I wanted to talk about like your cross solution as well, just because
Here, let me scroll
you
really
know
quick.
you said you didn't see a first pair here, and
Yeah.
um,
All right.
this is kind of a big idea. So I'm
Okay.
assuming the way that you solve this cross is always going to be like anytime you have a cross edge that's up, you
Mm-hmm.
would always do like ULF prime, right? For these
Yeah.
two.
To insert both of them. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if you don't see a first pair from the way you did your cross,
Uh huh.
you need to consider a different cross solution. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
Not always is a different cross solution like doing your edges in a different order, even though that is something that you want to think about sometimes. Is like if you see nothing from that, then do something different. But we can. There's a lot of variations that you can do of this exact same cross idea and edge
Mm-hmm.
order. So in this case, what I'm tracing is blue orange.
Okay.
So if I start with a very similar solution to you, um, well,
Insert the back pieces first. Then
yeah. So you could insert the back pieces first, like R prime, B prime.
orange blue is
Well,
kind of bad. Well, I can't really see.
yeah. Sorry, no. You would want to do L first here. So like
Yeah.
you do L, and the reason why you do this L first is because this piece is now in like what LB,
Mm-hmm.
and so now when it's in LB, when we do this RB R prime B prime R solution, it comes into the top layer,
Okay. Wait. So
and
just from here, then you wait. Are you still tracking orange blue, or are you doing a different pair?
yes.
Okay.
So you start with an yeah.
Oh, and then you get. Oh, okay. Wait.
Yeah, so U prime R prime FR makes a three mover, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah. Here, let me see.
yeah, did
Let
that
me
one
just.
kind of
Yeah, I didn't. So would you like notice that in a solve you would see that that's a three mover, so
yeah
that's the best solution obviously to do.
yeah that one's kind of like a to get there. It's kind of long.
Yeah.
Uh,
How
but
often
yes,
do you set up three
that
movers, would you say, in your solves? Like in should I try to do that? Or is it
I
just
mean I noticed that this was a three mover. It's not that I'm particularly trying to set up a three mover necessarily, but I am always trying to set up like a good first pair. Uh, which would
yeah,
like for
okay.
me is generally like an oriented pair in a back slot. maybe like an FL sometimes, but in this
I
case, yeah, like it just happens to be a three mover that I made.
Okay, I think a good
But
solution for me generally just means that it's at least for cross plus one, and just means that it's like obviously I see the first pair and I know both pieces are going to be in the top, so it's like it's one rotation is going to be a decent solution. You know,
yeah,
one or less rotation.
yeah. So like, I guess yeah, my definition's like a little bit more narrow.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, the reason why I would even think to do this move order is because these like you'll kind of develop a filter over time like of doing
Mm-hmm.
crosses, but
Yeah.
like I ran through a few different ideas, right? Like I noticed that orange green is a one move pair if I did a U prime to start. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
so like there was something I could have done there, but if you notice this pair kind of is if one it's misoriented, so like to deal with it I need to do like
Yeah.
F moves or something, or just a long solution that's not really worth it. Um,
And the
or I need to
situation with
like
this isn't that great because you
yeah, like
have to
the
do
way
U
it is
moves.
relative to the cross edges, like it's very prone to being broken by something,
Yeah.
so it's just like not worth doing all that to preserve it. Um, and then red green doesn't really make any sense here. Like again, this corner, this is gonna be in like the middle layer unless
Mm-hmm.
like this was in the top layer, but it was misoriented when you had it, and then yeah, we talked about these didn't work out well. So, and then of course, like red blue doesn't seem good here. So process of elimination tells me that I can do something with orange blue.
Yeah.
So yeah, L and I do have to intentionally find this move order, right? Because I want to put both these pieces in the top layer.
Yeah.
So like what you're saying is like a good pair for you is putting both pieces in the top layer. So you want to like think about cross plus one not as like I do my cross and then I do my first pair. It is how can I construct a good cross to give myself a good first pair?
Okay.
So
Okay.
for you, it would be like, how can I solve cross and put pieces in the top layer? And of course, like you can set up to like a case like red blue here, where it's like RU R2 prime R. That's like a really good solution as well, even though
Mm-hmm.
not both the pieces are in the top layer.
Yeah.
So you know that is something to think about. But yeah, here you have to like intentionally find that blue brings this edge in a position where naturally solving these two
It's gonna go to the
affects
top.
it.
Yeah.
And then this is a very common first pair pattern that you can think of. So like,
Yeah, I try. I like that's the main theme that I do for first pair. Usually, it's like a lot of the time it's that case where I do R prime F R.
yeah. Uh, by like first pair pattern, I mean specifically like the position of these two pieces relative
Oh
to each
yeah,
other.
how they're gonna pair up. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, so like, and then from here, like the only option here isn't even like U prime R prime F R, right? From here, you could do like F prime D prime L R U prime R prime F R. Like there's a multitude of different ways that you can insert this, and all of them affect the pair differently. So like even here, if I wanted to
Okay.
set up orange green as a three mover instead,
Yeah.
I could do like F prime D R prime D2. But like that's just
Oh.
like that's what I mean by you want to find variations of your cross solution, right?
Yeah.
Um, like there's multiple different ways to do the exact same piece, and you want to take into context like what the pieces around that cross edge are,
Mm-hmm.
and like what benefit do I get by solving this piece in this specific way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's kind of a lot, but
Yeah.
you
I
know,
understand what
if
you're
you
saying.
if you do all this stuff in like slow solves, you'll notice patterns, kind of like the that first pair
Yeah.
thing there, where it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if the corner's facing you, the edge is in the back, it makes a three mover,
Mm-hmm.
and when you like recognize those things once, you can then take like mental shortcuts, and you can be like, okay, I see that this is like two moves to this pattern,
Mm-hmm.
and then it makes your life a lot easier because you're not having to like intentionally trace everything. It's like you're just doing a few moves to like something you've already done before. So
Mm-hmm.
like it's all about being aware of these ideas initially, and then from there you can like build off that, and it makes everything a lot cleaner for you.
Yeah. Okay. And then like okay, yeah. You probably focus on EO a lot in that too, right?
Yeah, as well. So like, I mean, that's something that I've been working a lot on now is like trying to force as much EO as I can,
Yeah.
like as a start. And it's not always like solve like both my like if I mean, because like at this point I'm trying to see two pairs every solve, so like it's not like okay
Yeah.
solve my first pair and then like do that so my second pair is oriented, but
Uh-huh.
sometimes it's like if you have like a free pair or something,
Yeah.
how do I preserve this? Like, do I preserve this in a way that it's oriented, or do I like rotate to solve it, but then my
Mhm.
second pair is like oriented when I rotate? Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, yeah. If you're doing two pairs, yeah, that makes
Yeah, so
sense.
it's like yeah, same type of thing where it's like you incorporate your rotations in a way that benefit you naturally. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
a lot of this stuff is just like F2L theory.
Mhm.
Um, so like it's all kind of yeah theoretical stuff that I think you would benefit from taking a bigger dive into, because if you're saying you
Yeah.
can't see first pair every time, then you need to get I trust that you can like trace pieces to a good enough degree
Yeah, I
that
am probably like yeah, it's like 70%, 60% depends at this point.
yeah, I think if you can trace, then it's just a matter of setting yourself up in a position where you can trace well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
So, do you think
because yeah,
to
like
do that
when
it's
it
just untimed solves like for first pair in particular just to like
yeah,
what you said with
like
patterns and stuff?
specifically like try to run through as many cross solutions as possible, because the way you had did this, right? Um, Majority of your F2L pieces, you are putting in like a position where it's very hard to notice. Like,
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of people have blind spots with stuff happening in like this DB block. Like, anything that's
Mhm.
happening back here is like super hard to trace with everything that's going on. So generally, like anything back here is super hard to deal with. Um, Especially like the corners. But
Yeah.
yeah, like for this cross, like just try to find as many options as possible. Um, like I said, you can do so like you can either do this edge first or you can save this edge for last. So like
Mhm.
you can do these two first. Now do your L move, and then like okay, which way do I insert this edge? I either have like R U prime R prime F, and like oh look that gives me an X cross,
Yeah.
or it's like I have U prime R prime F R. Oh look that also gives me an X cross, or I have F prime D prime L. Okay, that preserves these, right? It's like
Mhm.
all of those solutions affect different pieces on the cube, and
Yeah.
if you are like if you try to start recognizing that and like exercise more influence on your F2L like situation, then I
Yeah.
think you'll find yourself tracking first pair a little bit more. But yeah,
Okay.
just run through as many cross solutions as you can.
Uh-huh.
Find like all the different ways to do it. There's a bunch of different triggers.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Okay. I think that yeah, that makes a lot more sense for cross plus one. I've like done like some focus practice on it, but most of my experience is just from doing
hmm
solves. So I think
Yeah.
yeah, more like on time stuff would work.
Yeah. On time, like I said, all this stuff you kind of have to recognize one time, and then or
Yeah.
like not one time, but if you see it a few times, then you have the idea there, and then that's something that you can fall back on and like set up to, right?
Uh-huh. Okay.
Um,
It's just move order and
but yeah,
stuff, trying to figure out where the pieces are.
yeah, move order is huge. Like
Yeah.
figuring out, yeah, like move orders are an idea of like very like chain like making variations on your cross, and then like on top of that, there's also like do I like I said, you can also just solve your cross edges in a different order. So like just completely change up your idea as opposed to looking at variations.
Yeah.
Just like find a completely different idea. So yeah, like I said, it's all like slow solves and
Yeah.
just playing around with it. Like try to find stuff that you haven't thought about before.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. What? Here, let's do the other scramble we were doing. What was it? Did I send you the
So
fourth scramble? U2 B2R?
you got mad. Yeah, I got that.
Oh, wait, what? Wait, what were you saying?
Someone said you got mad handle. That's crazy.
I got mad?
Mad handles. Like
Oh,
I'm Kyrie Irving with the Rock.
dude. That's pretty saucy, bro. Alright, what am I doing here? Would you say you're the Kyrie Irving of the Rubik's Cube?
I think I'm the Tingus Pingus of the Rubik's Cube.
It's crazy. Tingus Pingus went off, though, so...
Dude, oh my god. That game was so hard to watch. I'm sorry.
Depression. Never want to see the Celtics win again.
Yeah,
Alright,
it was really bad.
what am I doing here? Alright. Yeah, I have both of those there. Alright. Yeah, this is interesting. So, my cross solution I would do is probably just from this position, U prime, R prime, F, and then, yeah, just insert the last two.
Okay, I see.
What would I do here?
Yeah, I generally try to avoid, like B move endings like that. They're kind of awkward for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just me.
Okay. I typically whenever I would do that, I would do like if this is my last piece, then I would do like a push move back here.
Mhm.
But then like going into F12 is kind of difficult.
Yeah, like you want like cross solutions. You want to try to end up in home group as quick. Like you want to be able to get into home group as quickly as
Yeah.
possible after you finish.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then like on top of that, it's like if you're finding that you're doing this B moves like push a lot, it's probably because like your idea for cross is a little suboptimal. Like but that's generally what I found is like if you're relying on that B move solution a lot,
Yeah.
try to think about solving that edge earlier in the cross, and like that might
Okay.
switch things up, right? Or like try to think about doing it from like a different angle or something. Like that's as well another way.
Yeah, that
But
makes
yeah.
sense. What would you do for this
So,
solution
I think I want you to try to figure out a different cross solution. It's
Okay,
like
I'll figure it out.
we've like recognized that like the cross that we did is like maybe suboptimal. So like this is kind of the practice I was telling you about earlier. So
Yeah.
like try to run through other options. So like what other solutions can you find?
I
here?
think I could do it. Wait. Could I do that? Yeah, I could do like an X cross here with orange blue, where you insert both of these, and then you insert this, and then you insert this edge. D2, you insert that. Let me see. If I
So
can
you just
describe it.
okay. So yeah, you see how like we went from like kind of an awkward start into like okay, I see an X cross and BL.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's like yeah.
yeah. I know what you're
There's
saying.
like yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you might just be like settling a little too quickly for like you know
I'm
whatever you're
scrambled or
seeing.
whatever.
So how'd you think of doing this ice cross?
Wait, let me see your cube. Did I miscramble or something? Is there not an orange blue block? I think I miscrambled.
There's like kind of a block here. Not really though.
Yeah, wait. Yeah. In that situation, though, I'd do an X cross. Let me see what the actual scramble looked like.
Like that.
Alright. This one. Okay, so this one, yeah. Yeah, this is the right scramble. Alright. This one for first pair, what would I do? I'm looking at green, orange right now. But that solution, I would be doing B moves to begin to solve.
Okay, I think B moves are fine to begin because, like I said, we want to try to um, end in home group as easily as possible. So like that's the same reason why you can start cross kind of weird and then like it's fine because you end in home grip. So if you feel like you end in like a decent position, like that's
Or okay,
fine by
I'll
all
just do
means.
blue-orange and start with B moves. So if I started with them and did like the same cross solution, but it was the first two moves and the last two with a U move in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Oh, so you're
I
saying like okay,
I insert
yeah,
this one and then I do this and then I have this pair, right?
I see.
And then I solve it in the bag or whatever. But
Okay.
that's the cross solution I would do from there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the idea here. I think two things like we want to uh like it depends how you execute this. This could be perfectly fine. I would probably do this with like red top, yellow front. So like,
Uh, from here,
uh, yeah.
and then
So
you do
like F
this.
prime, and then wide R prime, U,
Yeah.
and then like wide L prime F
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a lot nicer.
D2.
Okay.
And what I was actually tracing here was red blue.
Uh huh.
Do
Because
you know a
back
way to solve this
left.
pair rotationlessly?
Oh, yeah. Isn't it? Can't you do a sludge here? Which I
Yeah.
don't really use this on. Wait. It's like
So
this, yeah.
yeah,
Oh, and then you get
use
rotationless. Okay, that makes
sledge.
sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So doing that rotationless, um, so okay, yeah. This is just nice because we get this rotationless solve or like rotationless first pair in a back slot, which generally is good. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, doing it that way doesn't really affect red green as well. So we can pretty cleanly go straight into this one.
Yeah.
So you could just like solve it. But yeah, that's I traced this because I didn't really see this, and as well like again we want to try to prioritize oriented first pairs.
Yeah.
Um, going like straight into like a
Mm-hmm.
what we call it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, going into a misorient like rotating straight after cross is like not always ideal. Only if like you know that. Like I said, try to do two pairs with one rotation.
Uh-huh.
So like if that's not really the case, then like you're kind of making yourself
Yeah.
in a worse situation.
Can I go switch out my camera
I
battery
think
real
you're.
quick, just for a second? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
frozen.
My bad.
It's okay. It'll take like a minute.
Yeah, you feel like all this stuff makes sense. I mean, like, stop me if you have like any questions on anything.
Yeah. Yeah, what you said so far about that makes sense. Setting up the camera. Alright. Will this work? Yes. Okay. Exposure is crazy. Move that down. Alright. Okay, I think it works now.
Alrighty.
Okay, so we were on this pair, but
Yeah, so sledge and then back insert.
okay,
Okay,
that
now
makes sense.
here, like, there's the most straightforward approach here. Just solve these. Um, it's oriented. It's going in back left.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
fine. You could easily track it from last pair, so works
Yeah.
fine. And then yeah,
Okay.
LU12 prime. And now we're from here, right? So what do you think we should do here?
Here, both are misoriented, so you probably just rotate and then spam RU, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Rotate, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
Alright.
there might be some like Uh, like you want to get comfortable with like understanding how your pairs move pieces around. So like with
Mm-hmm.
every solution you do for any pair, you want to know like generally what happens to the cube. And if you want a way to train that, um, you just set up like the inverse of your solution. So like this is the
Okay.
first pair we had.
Yeah.
The reason why I noticed that nothing here moved is because like the reason you do the inverse is because it shows you all the pieces that don't get affected because this block here isn't gonna move when we do our sledge, right? Because sledge affects this front slot, and
Yeah.
then like none of this gets broken up. So we can essentially just like if we know we have this pair and we know how this affects pieces, we can think of this as like this is just gonna be here. So sledge R prime U prime R, and a lot of these like cases are setups to other situations. So like, of course, the most basic one you want to learn is R prime U prime R. What happens to the cube when you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Um, anything, and as well, this goes for like L prime U prime L, and every angle for it, even like R U R prime. But
Yeah.
in this specific case, like anything here doesn't move. This slot doesn't get affected. These two
Okay.
pieces get hidden, stay where they are, and like you can benefit a lot just by like learning this and from the front it would look like that so as well like comfortable with knowing that these don't
Mm-hmm.
move, this cycles one over but stays together. Same thing with like this situation. um the tricky part about this one is that like this corner changes orientation,
Yeah.
and but yeah, the reason why you just do the inverses is because like you see where everything's going to end up, like if you because it's going to solve the cube, so like this corner ends up here and it changes orientation from right to
Yeah.
up. So that's like a really easy way to think about it. And
Okay.
then like look at sledge. Sledge does literally nothing to these back two. It only affects stuff here. The important thing about sledge is that it changes EO for these two pieces. This goes from a bad edge to a good edge. You don't need to think about it in terms of that, but like just think
Uh-huh.
that anything that's here, whatever its orientation is, changes. Anything that's here, whatever its orientation is,
Okay.
changes.
Because you're doing F moves, right? So it's just
Exactly, yeah.
okay.
And then like yeah, hedge is the same thing, but other way.
Yeah.
Change corners a little bit differently. And then yeah, from here, then you can do like setups to like your standard solutions. So like, uh, we have RUR like we have RUR prime, but then we have like this alg. So this one is very similar. And
Mm-hmm.
like if you looked at this pair, you might not think that oh this block doesn't change it at all when we do that, right?
Yeah.
You would because it first gets inserted here,
And then it gets taken
but
out.
then it actually stays where it is anyway, right? So it moves, but it goes back. So
Yeah.
that's why it's important. Like I never really did this type of drill, but I over time recognized
Yeah.
these types of things and had to figure it out. But this is just like a
Yeah.
way to like brute force learn it and like systematically go through it.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Okay. That makes
and yeah, you
sense.
can do
Yeah.
this for like every pair ever. And so like if
Mm-hmm.
you're noticing that like your look ahead isn't the greatest in certain situations, like
Mm-hmm.
try to go back, find the pairs that are causing problems, and then learn what happens when you do that pair.
Okay.
And then it does take situational awareness to like understand where you're at with your F12 or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's like
So
a
just like
big
going
thing.
through pairs and seeing what they do to the cube, basically.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like a lot of them, like I said, they reduce down to like insert, free pair, like sledge, pedge, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, you can like kind of run through all those and like get comfortable with like the
Yeah.
shorter ones, and then it makes
It's
life a
mainly
lot
just
easier.
the basic triggers, though.
Yeah. Because if you learn the basic triggers, then like you kind of learned the other ones that require them. It's just
Uh-huh.
like you have a one move in between. Um, yeah, and like once you start noticing that, then whenever you're doing solves, you'll be like, oh, like yeah, this isn't gonna move. So like of course I can go straight into that, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that idea makes a lot of sense to do that. I don't really think I've ever focused on that either, in particular. Just like look
Yeah.
ahead is just like tracking, I think, for me at this point, instead of like
Yeah, for sure.
knowing, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was gonna do
it's like yeah, your cross solution here is good. Again, there's like other ideas that you can do, like
that. Mm-hmm.
Like I think what I would have done here is like uh okay, yeah. So I would have done like from yellow top green front like or blue top yellow front, I guess. F prime and then like oh,
Like
I
that.
mistraced this.
Alright.
This is bad. This is what we did, but I was gonna do like
Yeah.
A U move here. So I thought this would give me like this case,
Oh,
but
okay.
it did not do that.
All right, that
Uh,
makes sense to do. Yeah,
yeah.
you were
I
just trying to
mean,
say that.
like I said, the way he did it is like fine, but yeah, I would just try to avoid doing the B move to start, or to end, because you know we want to be closer to home grip. So yeah, if you save it to the end, you're fine.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Okay. So you think that you're gonna have to do B moves no matter what on this cross solution because like there's no way you're starting from another
Not
orientation.
necessarily, but in order to get a decent pair, yeah. If you wanted to do this cross entirely without B moves, you could do like yellow top, orange front, um, L prime, U prime, R prime, F. Solve these three, D2,
Uh huh.
and like L, F prime, L prime,
Yeah.
and then I trace this as my first pair.
Oh, okay. Yeah. From
But that's like, I think that's kind of hard. But we actually get
the
all
same.
oriented edges from here, so like this continuation is really clean. Like insert,
Okay.
solve, splits these, solve, and then
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But I think personally I'd only see like FB move solutions for that cross.
I mean, there is like F moves in there, but yeah, I mean, like I said, this is the same thing with like you want to figure out other approaches. So like again, instead of forcing yourself to solve this with the blue, if you just solve these three
Yeah.
and then save it for the end, you get a different solution, right? So
Uh huh. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, like again, that's just a matter of like when you're doing solves, like try to find other approaches. That's not just solely
Yeah. For cross, especially.
like the first instinct you have. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's do the fifth solve. Where is that? This one, B U2L. Right. Hi, chat. I've kind of neglected chat for the past however long this has been going. I'm sorry, chat. I'll never do that again. Okay. What do we have going on here? We have I don't even know what I did for this. I think I did B moves again for that. Yeah, I did B moves and then just realized that orange blue is unaffected and it's pretty nice.
Yeah. So like, in this case, it's fine.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're gonna do here. What are you thinking of doing?
I think just these two opposite. So what? R prime, B prime, R2, D, R2, D, R.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
I
Is there a better solution? Wait,
I
let me
would
see.
I would do it a little bit differently.
Okay.
So I would do. So yeah, what you did was 1, 2, 3. Well, that's a double move. 4, 5 double move. 6, 7 moves.
Yeah.
7 moves plus 2 double moves, which like double moves kind of count as more, but like
Uh huh.
only when they only kind of count whenever they are like too many of them in units, like in like succession.
Yeah.
So what you can do instead is like instead of solving green, you do R prime D prime, to start.
Okay. Yeah, and
So
then
yeah,
you
R
do B
prime, D
move.
prime, and then B prime, and then R2, D2, R prime.
Okay, yeah, that's what
And
it
then
was
yeah,
here.
you can still this is your first pair.
All right. Yeah. So
Um,
then, what is this?
yeah,
What am I seeing here? This one, yeah. So it'd just be this pair, and then
yep.
if I'm looking at the situation, would you usually so you look at this situation from here and be like, okay, since I'm doing 2 gen for that, nothing's gonna change. So I just know that I
Yeah,
am.
everything in these front right slots are gonna stay the same. Like it in the first two layers. Everything in the top layer is gonna change, but
Yeah,
everything in this first two layers is gonna stay the same.
yeah. Okay, and then this is also where I just like practice knowing where this is gonna be
Hmm.
after making this pair. And then I also know that,
Yeah.
well, from this situation, I'd like have to rotate, but because this is nice, I wouldn't. Just like that.
Yeah, and what you should also notice is like
Oh, because sledge,
by
it
doing
pairs
it
it up.
that way. Yeah. So sledge pairs it, and now
Not
when you do
that, yeah.
insert, it pairs this up too, right?
Yeah.
So like it doesn't always need to be it doesn't always need to be like, okay, this is oriented, this is misoriented or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be optimal about rotations, like you have to find when to do the misoriented one, when to
Yes.
do the oriented one, and like when you can deviate from here. So like
Yeah.
in this case, like this kind of breaks our rules. Like we're solving a diag pair, but the reason why we're doing that is because like sledge insert gives us
Mm-hmm.
this made pair.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
But just in general, would you always just do sledge for that pair, even if it wasn't the follow up?
Um,
It's like it's diag, but
if
it's like not that bad.
so like the reason why I wouldn't want to do it here is
Yeah.
because now like
Now that's
if
bad.
this pair was if this pair was or if this edge was oriented correctly, then yeah, I would do it.
Yeah.
Like, or sorry, no. If this edge was oriented correctly, I wouldn't do U prime sledge. It's the fact that this is bad that I'm doing it this way, right? So like
Okay. Okay.
doing like
So
having multiple
yeah.
ways to solve a pair is important to deal with different EOs.
Okay. So what you're saying is, if wait, if I rotate, then I get EO as well, but the pair just isn't as good. Because if I like take it out and then rotate,
Yeah, if you take it
then
out
my
and
edge is
rotate, you
oriented.
don't get EO. So
Wait,
you're so
really?
like
Wait, do this.
yeah, because you
Oh, because
rotate
I.
and now it's going out at a different axis. So like that's kind of a tricky
Oh
part
yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense.
but yeah, if that edge was flipped, like if everything else was the same but that edge was flipped, I would
Mm-hmm.
do like I would take it out and then solve it
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But just
because
I
you want
understand
to like
that.
exercise like control over your EO.
Right. I understand that just from this position, why you sledge is because it's gonna flip the edge. Right.
Yeah, which is true. Yeah, and then like yeah, I would see that as well. But like remember sledge inserts whatever is in here.
Yeah.
So like if you look at sledge base, right?
Uh-huh.
Uh, this is a bad edge.
Yeah.
This edge doesn't change when you sledge, so this edge stays the same orientation wise. So
But it goes down.
sledge puts this here flipped.
Uh-huh.
This goes here obviously, and then this goes back, right? So again, this changes orientation, goes back. So yeah, sledge, and then from here, like insert does that. Um, if this is also fine because you're dealing with like a flipped edge at once. We have gotten like pretty unlucky with the amount of like flipped edges we have in their
Mm-hmm.
slot. Like that's like kind of
Yeah.
insane, honestly. Um, but yeah, I mean like sledge insert here is like perfectly fine. If this edge was flipped, then you would want to take it out and rotate. But in this
Yeah.
case, like yeah,
Okay.
sledge insert is better here.
Okay. Because I take it out, rotate, then I have. Yeah.
Then you have like you have a misoriented edge and a flipped edge in its slot. So you're gonna have to rotate to solve the pair, rotate back to solve
Yeah.
the next pair. So like
Okay.
you'll yeah. that's what I was saying with like there's situations where like you are stuck like diag pairs sometimes like you have to do two rotations to solve it unless you do something like I don't know someone might say like oh you can do like rough stuff or whatever like but
Yeah.
this is I'm trying to like propose solutions that I think are like viable to do and execute and find and solves
Yeah.
um
Right. That makes
and
yeah,
like
that
some of that
makes a lot
stuff
of
just like
sense.
isn't ergonomic.
Yeah. I would never do that in myself. So, okay. Yeah, that was the tricky part was figuring out that this was going to be misoriented if I
Hmm.
took it out like that
Yeah.
because I didn't really think about that, the fact that it's going on what you said, a different axis. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, flip the edge, do that. And
Okay.
then
And now how would you do these last two? Yeah.
for this um wait, so you could just do a rotationless if you did F moves, right?
Yeah, and so okay, we want to think about the axis in which we're doing this. As so like again, we want to think: do I do F prime U two F or do I do U prime F prime?
Well, you would have to do U prime, just a single U move, because it splits up the pair, as opposed to getting whatever that is. It's
Yeah,
pretty bad.
yeah, exactly. So if you did this, you'd get like
Yeah,
this at the back,
just
which is
like right.
like meh. So yeah, you do U prime F prime,
Yeah, and then you get
and
that.
then you do that in the back,
Yeah. Okay.
and yeah, OL PLL. So I mean, I think we came to a really good conclusion on that solve like quicker than
Yeah.
the last ones. Um,
Yeah, that
but
makes a
yeah,
lot of
like
sense.
I
What
think going forward,
about wait, just a second, can I like ask you about
okay,
these? What
so for
about
these,
this situation here? It
okay,
was
so
what did I do? I don't even know. Can you see the cube though?
yeah, I can see. What do you think you should do here?
Um, well, I'd probably do these two with like F moves or something. So like that, and then
Oh, okay.
this.
So I generally reserve that solution for last pair.
Yeah,
Reason being is because like you can just keyhole this, and the look ahead for RUR prime is a lot cleaner than the look ahead for like, or well, than this one,
mm-hmm.
because this cycles like these three here. This stays the same. So like if this is something that you want to preserve, like then that solution is good. But outside of that, like just doing a D move and then because this like you'll have way more reps with this solution than you will this one. So
Yeah.
like for me, the look ahead for this case is a lot easier. So I would rather go into that. So I would keyhole this here.
Okay. So you just do it like that, and then does it like? Do you think about what D move you do based on what you
Yeah,
have?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So like in this case, you would want to do D prime U,
Yes. So
because
yeah.
you're gonna get an oriented
Oh yeah,
edge
yeah, yeah.
for red green, red blue, and you're gonna split them up. So that corner, which was in BR, is now in the top layer with an oriented edge,
Yeah.
and then you can do like D U prime,
Yeah.
and now you have like a nice pair in like there,
Yeah. Do you
and then
think
you
like
can't
these
really do
solutions are
anything.
interchangeable? If I just do like this, or if I do like
Yeah, so
this?
that pair would actually be a lot cleaner for you to set up the last pair because it'll split them at the end. I actually don't use that alg at all, but now that you
Yeah, I use that
do
more
that,
than I
I
use this one.
yeah, I will actually start thinking about that one because that actually makes this last two like a lot cleaner. I think you end up with a three mover at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now you can do
And
like
you have
wide
EO.
F
Okay.
to
Yeah.
finish. Yeah, you could yeah whatever you prefer. Like rotation and wide F are like entirely equal. Um, in that
Okay.
position because like the grip into wide F is kind of hard. But
Yeah.
yeah, um,
Okay, that makes a lot of
it's all
sense.
about like figuring out which solution you think is gonna play out better for your next pair.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
I'll start thinking about that a lot more because I don't like I ever think about impact on next pairs after I do a pair. Like
yeah.
that's not really how I think about look ahead. I like just solve a pair and I'm like, okay, what's the next pair gonna be? You know, instead of like, oh, I can make
Hmm.
this a better pair. And I think
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
a good continuation of learning.
Yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, the big thing is just gonna be like, I think a lot of people just aren't aware about a lot of these ideas.
Yeah, I
Um,
like a lot of the stuff that you talked about. Like, I vaguely know what it is. Like, I know what EO is, right? But I don't use it in solves. I also,
yeah.
yeah, the pair influencing stuff. Like, I don't use it in solves. So I think people
Hmm.
might know what it is, but they don't like focus on it too much.
They know, but they don't know.
Right. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean by that. It's pretty
um,
mysterious, but I know what you mean.
yeah. I mean, it is like they are super dense concepts. So like, I understand why it's quite challenging and like
Yeah, it's hard. It's
you
hard.
know yeah, it'll definitely take like a little bit for you to get comfortable with a lot of that stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I think it's like I hope that like me presenting this stuff to you kind of makes you
Yeah.
see like what people do in F2L in a different way, and like you can at least like be more informed like when you see that, because like
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because I
I
feel
think
like
it makes a lot of people's decisions a lot more understandable.
yes, and yeah, whenever I like break down stuff, I'm usually like I can slow the solve down, so I do understand more concepts than I would during a regular solve. But at the same time, there's still a lot that like for EO stuff like that. I'll have to look at a bunch of Yihang solutions now differently because I
Oh
see
yeah,
that,
for sure.
and that's like a big thing that he
Yeah.
does. Yeah. So just in general, so you think I should do dual CN, obviously, like just start solving on
Yeah,
yellow,
for sure.
and
Do like a yellow
then
only
yeah,
session
yeah,
like
yeah,
today.
and then um, cross plus one is basically just doing on-time solves, doing a bunch of cross solutions, and then
Yeah, so like I guess kind of like find the yeah, run through as many possible cross solutions as possible, and then like think about which of these have merit
mm-hmm.
given like how they affect F2L pieces. So
Right.
like the way you think about solutions should be like how does doing this solution place these F2L pieces?
Yes.
And then like from there like pick between
So
which one's the
yeah,
best.
just running through like a bunch of different solutions for one scramble.
Yeah, and that's why yellow is good, because like being
Yeah.
able to do yellow is good as well, because instead of only having to like find every variant for white, it's like okay, maybe
Yeah.
there's something like I can find something that's a lot cleaner, a lot faster on yellow. So
Yeah. Does that make EO harder for you, do you think? If someone were to start doing yellow?
no, so it's like the same edges. The only hard part is that like
Oh yeah, that's true.
two of the like the color scheme is like flipped, like with
Yeah. Yeah.
two of the things. So like the EO is the exact same though, because you're looking at the same edges. For me, it's like it's
Yeah, true.
impossible to do CN. Like I can still get like, sevens on CN or something, but
Uh-huh.
like my solves are so choppy, and any of that recognition I built up is really hard. But I think
Yeah.
for yellow, like I guess that's why I've been doing it for like years, but um
Uh-huh.
it's like pretty much the exact same to me now. Like I think of
Yeah.
yellow and white no different from each other.
Okay, yeah. That makes
It
sense.
might be hard at first, just because like the
Yeah,
color
but
scheme is like slightly
yeah.
different. But I think the hardest part for people I find is like solving cross right, like
Okay.
because they'll flip like orange and red or blue and green or something.
Yeah. That I've done that before whenever I do yellow. It's just confusing like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then EO, obviously I know what to do there. That would just be like doing on time solves, right? Because if I try to
Yeah,
focus on it during a
yeah,
regular solve, it's chaotic.
for sure.
Yeah. And
I mean,
then
like your training is generally fine. I mean, you could benefit from look ahead like
yeah.
practice. So like I said, like if you recognize that certain stuff is like messing with you, you want to
Yes.
like
Go
do
through
the
it.
inverse of the solution, and then like you can learn what happens, and then
Yes.
when it comes to like real time solves, all you have to do is just apply what you're seeing or what you
Yeah.
know is gonna happen to your
Okay.
F12 state.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go through a lot of like if I just like had a pair here, had a pair here, and just noticing that like the three movers like how they affect the
Hmm.
cube and then how they affect the next pair. I think is a huge thing that I need to do.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, like a lot of those F12 cases that are like 7 moves or whatever are just like 3 mover U insert or like insert U three
Yes.
mover.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
pretty much the exact same thing.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then Alex, I don't. I'll figure out the G perm or whatever. It's
Yeah,
goofy.
yeah. Learn RUD perm.
Yeah. Do you think I should just um stick with just straight U? Don't go for T at all. Like I know like some of the T cases, but not enough to where I would actually do it in solve because the recognition, pause, whatever.
I say if you're recognize like general rule of thumb, if you recognize a case, uh, if you're like, oh, I saw this case before, and like you keep recognizing it, learn the
Mm-hmm.
alg for it because you already have the recognition down, which is all that. Like that's the hardest part.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard of people doing that before. Yeah, that makes sense. But like in that
yeah.
case, if I did that, I think, um, I don't know. It's just the recognition for that is difficult. If I only know like what 20 of the cases out of 72, I just
Mhm.
feel like if I saw I don't know. It's just I like knowing the
I
whole set.
mean, that makes a lot of sense. Like I'm running into that now where like I just like learned I know like 8 out of 12 L2 GLLs or something,
Yeah.
and like I'll recognize like I'll recognize the ones that I know, and then like I do my recog, and I'm like, oh, I don't know this one, and then I have to like
Hmm.
do my OLL CP, and
Oh
then it's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
just it just makes my solves worse on average. But
Yeah.
like the solves where I know the alg are better. I mean, I don't like I know like for example, oh oh wait, there's a what should we call it? Um, there's a T case that's like
I might know it. Whatever.
big block T. No,
Okay.
whatever. I don't know.
What
It's
does it
like a
look like?
checkerboard T
Explain.
case. It's like the only one that I know out of that set, and it doesn't really affect me because it's like a big block alg. So it's like generally the ones that you recognize very easily without the ones that you like recognize. You're like, oh, I've seen this one before. Are ones that have like very distinguishing
Yeah.
features, and when that's the case, it's like I don't think it's actually that bad because it has a distinguishing
Okay.
feature
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
sticks out to you clearly, right?
Right. Yeah, that makes more sense. Just like
So I don't think it's
have
like the
blocks and
biggest
stuff.
deal. Yeah, yeah. If it's one that you're recognizing, like you're recognizing it because you notice something about it consistently.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. I don't really see a point of learning T right now. Yeah, that algs. I'll just learn G perm or whatever, and then the other ones are fine.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I'll make sure to be dual color neutral because that's obviously meta.
Yeah, bro. You got it, man. It makes your life a lot easier.
Yeah, a lot of times
And
on
it's all
white, I'm
like,
just like
you'll
this
see first
crust.
pair more too. Like you'll see first pair
Yeah,
more too. Like
that makes sense
it
too.
really aids with like a lot of stuff that you might be dealing with.
How many solves on average do you think is just like both are bad? Like if you were to do 10
Oh.
solves, like how often would you just say both are like terrible?
Like how often do I chalk it up as like this is just bad?
Yeah,
Out of
like
out of 10 solves, I would say like there's probably not a solve out of 10 that I'm like it'd have to be a bigger sample size, I think.
oh okay, yeah, all right,
I think
that
generally
makes
within
sense.
10 solves I can find something okay for all of them, and I yeah, I would say there's maybe like uh, I don't know. I think if I did like an
Still,
AO25, there'd be like 2 solves, 3 solves that are kind of just bad.
yeah, it just gives you a ton more options though if I do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
all right, I'll become dual CN and focus
You're
on.
gonna become the new Yihang Wang, dude.
Yes, I am Yi Hang Wang
Yeah.
of the American Peninsula, and yeah, it's. Do you
Yeah.
think
I mean,
like being dual CN or no total CN with bias is best?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Um, Like,
Yeah.
I think there's a really good example of this in like one of Tim Lun's solves where it was like he did 4 out of 5 solves of his average. I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
I'd
did
be making this
last
up, but I'm
average was
pretty sure he did
5 out
like
of 5. Yeah.
yeah. But like, the only reason why you want to like be able to do the other colors is for the instance when you white and yellow are bad, and that does happen sometimes, and like red is like a triple X cross, and like you know what I mean, like
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but it's just like that only works if like you're on WR pace and like on Sol 5 they're both bad and then you just get blessed on like another color. But it's
Yeah.
not even always like that. Sometimes it's like every color sucks or like every
Mhm.
color is entirely equal, so you should just do white yellow anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so like it doesn't always work out amazingly, but yeah, you want at least the option to be able to do that, you know? Being able to have as many options as possible is the biggest thing.
Right. Yeah. But you're just spending too much time like focusing on one over the other
Yeah.
wouldn't be optimal. All right. Yeah. Do you want to like kind of describe what your coaching stuff is? I know you made like a video on it, but like if you just want to like tell people
Yeah, I
what
mean,
that is.
it literally like what you just kind of saw is pretty much exactly what a session would look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like an hour long session just talking
Hmm.
about like your solves. I mean, I normally get people to send in um like an AO12 or something before we meet, and then I, take notes. So like I didn't have that to go off for like when
Yeah.
what we just did.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we talk about pretty much this exact same stuff, but like the thing is that I get to like walk you through it and
Yeah.
like show you where you can apply these things, um,
Yeah.
even when like you know, even if you've already heard this idea or like I've talked about some of these concepts like before. The big thing is just like I get to one on
It's more
one talk you through some of
personalized.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Because a lot of people have different issues with themselves.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I know they're like huge concepts to like think about, but
Yeah.
if you give it time, I'm sure you'll
Yeah.
get familiar with it, and then you'll just start instinctively recognizing some of that stuff, and your solves will like feel cleaner. I feel like when I started thinking
Yeah.
about a
For
lot of this
focusing
stuff,
on
like
ego, yeah. It'd be a lot
it
better.
was like it was like mind blowing. Like everything felt like it opened up really well. So
I know, yeah, I just don't think about that stuff at all. But yeah, it's pretty much what are
for
people
sure,
saying in general? Yeah,
where would be a good place to go? Um,
I am.
yeah, just
What is happening?
uh, if you want coaching, like you can just go to my channel. I have a video on it, and then you can just like message me wherever, um, like email or Instagram or whatever.
Yeah. Noah Swar says, "Chat. What is your reaction?"
uh, what's up, chat? Dude, Noah's
Chat.
hilarious. Oh my goodness.
Chat.
Uh, Noah and I are gonna do a top 10 cubers of all time video.
Dude, yeah, you need to post that and post that. We need to see that.
Have you
We,
seen? Do you know that basketball podcast, the Deep Three?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
They
seen
be
that.
doing like, dude,
Yeah,
yeah,
you gotta do. You
that's
gotta,
how I imagine it.
bro. Yeah, you
It's
gotta do
gonna be
that.
us, but we're like, dude, I've been saying like, dude, Matt Volk's the most overrated cuber of all time.
That's wild
Like,
take, bro.
I'm just trying to throw out some hot takes, bro. Get me on the YouTube Shorts game, bro.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We gotta be posting those clips, bro. We
Oh
gotta
yeah.
have the
Oh
hot
yeah.
takes and everything. Yeah, I need to see that video.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Um,
That'll be fire.
how much does the coaching cost? What was the pricing? Two people are asking about that.
Uh, it's it's kind of it's in limbo right now. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have like a set price. It's
Yeah.
like 30, 35, but
Uh,
that's every session. So
yeah.
most people I coach, like I generally want to do. I want to keep people on for like long term because I think that's where you get the most use out of it. If you want like a one-time critique, you'll get a lot of the same stuff you kind of heard here, but I'll like do a write-up for you and like give you more personalized feedback, and that's like a one-time thing that you can just like message me. We can talk about.
Mhm. Okay. What plan do I learn to? Do I want to learn after the T set? Um, HZBLL because it's HZBLL. It's terrible. That'd be fun to do.
Dude, H and Pi are like so hard to recognize. I don't
Oh my.
I don't know how like Timon and Zhuanyi and
Oh
Shishin
yeah.
recognize that stuff at all.
I was going through the first like the 2 GLL for H, and I was like, oh, these algs are really really nice. And then I realized they look the exact same, and it's like literally impossible to
Yeah,
tell.
literally, like you can't even tell the difference.
No, they're literally just the same.
Yeah, I was at a comp with Kyle Santucci, and he was like, you know me, I don't know that many ZBs, but he was like,
Yeah.
Dylan, you gotta learn Diag Pi to like ZB, bro. And I was like, you are
No.
the goofiest guy I've ever talked to. Like, you think
Diag
I'm about to? You think I don't even know a full set of like I don't know a single full COLL set of ZB for any case.
Yeah.
Like the first one I'm learning is not pi like Diag Pi ZB, bro. Like what?
I don't even know what the usage of that is, bro. Like,
He's like,
when
well, because
when are you gonna
pi
use
is
that?
like the worst cross OLL by speed. So like,
Yeah,
if
but
you take the worst OLL plus the worst PLLs on average, like being able to do all that in one alg saves you more
yeah,
time
that
than
is
like the
true.
other cases.
Are those algs like even
But it's
semi
like,
decent though?
I mean, he said the algs were good. Like, but I don't know.
A recognition
Kyle's
though,
crazy.
terrible.
Yeah, recognition's the hard part. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's rough. Does he know like almost full? What is he? Except for like
Yeah,
obviously soon anti soon.
I think yeah, everything except for soon anti soon. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. Caleb Chen.
he
Uh,
knows full. I saw like a video of
knows.
him just going through every one of them, bro. I was like, what?
Yeah, Nicolas Sanchez knows full too.
Yeah,
Um,
there.
yeah.
How many people in the world know full? Like, uh, 50 somewhere.
Uh,
Under 50.
I don't know. You know, I talked to Anthony Brooks not that long ago.
Yeah,
He was the first person to learn full,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
or like, yeah, and bro,
And
bro's a
ZBLS
cubing,
is ridiculous.
cubing boomer.
Yeah, and like Tao Yu, weren't they like the first ones to actually do it and like use it
Yeah,
themselves?
yeah,
Obviously.
it's yeah. I know Chris Tran learned full ZB like in 2016, but he learned only half of ZB and then just mirrored all the alks with his left hand, which is
Yeah,
like
like
the worst way to go about it, bro.
I saw. Yeah, he was like giving a the seminar or whatever at
Yeah, yeah.
NATS.
He's like, dude, just mirror it.
Yeah, and he's like, you can take out the triggers and you can take out mirroring it. I'm like, oh well. I
Mm,
mean, I don't know how good those algs are if you do it like that.
yeah. Oh yeah, that one guy who knew full one look, Ed Martyr. I think bro only knows like a third of it now.
Oh yeah, dude, that would be terrible. Not even like just learning it, just retaining any of it at all. I don't even know how you even
Yeah,
recognize it. You'd recognize it by like stickers individually, like where all the green stickers are or something.
yeah.
It's like really
It's
jank.
I don't know. I mean, dude, the meta like I think we're gonna see everyone converge onto the Zhuanyi Shishin train where
Yeah, probably.
it's all ZBLS ZB, and
Yes.
I really hate that that's the case because
I
I
mean,
like, dude. Oh my God.
you got to start from a young
I
age if
like,
you're doing that. It's like a
dude. I
commitment.
know. I just turned 20, bro. You think I'm gonna like be in my senior year of college, like
Yeah, you're like
grinding
ancient,
my
bro.
400 ZBs? No, dude.
No.
I'm
Yeah.
cooked.
You got to start at like age 5 or under. Like otherwise you just don't have time. Like there's just no way.
No, literally. Like,
And yeah, like one look glass layer
yeah,
is not going to be the meta because it's too hard to
dude. No,
recognize.
yeah,
There's just no point.
yeah. And
And
like
versus
ZB is like
DBLS.
already one look last layer. If you get EO every time, you
Yeah.
do one look last layer. Like it's so
Right. Yeah.
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 Yeah, ZB is one look last layer with one extra step, but the extra step is in F2L, and like it doesn't count as a real look because you're just looking ahead to it. Right?
Yeah.
We're
So it's just
we're
one.
also gonna see like ZB influencing. Like here, there's a case.
Hmm.
Oh, so
Oh, influencing
like this
OLO.
one, if you do sledge, you get pi, but
Yeah.
if you do insert like this, oh wait, what? Oh, I'm bad.
Oh. So it's like VLS stuff, depending on how you insert it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you do alternate inserts to influence corners to get better ZBs. Like
Dude,
that's gonna
that's
be the meta
that's
when you're like forcing
crazy.
T and U from like last slot. That's gonna be
Oh
goaded.
my. Yeah, so that's when you're gonna start seeing like sub four averages at that point, like just
Oh, dude,
constant,
yeah.
like
I
averaging
we're
three. It's
definitely
like,
getting like we're definitely getting like low three average like at some like
dude.
this decade for
Because if you're
or
doing
yeah
that, like, and you're influencing exactly what ZBLL case you're getting, you're probably doing
yeah
like 40 move solves, right?
exactly yeah
Dude, that would just be like so dystopian to watch. If you're just like, it's just everybody's just spamming all the ZBs and they know exactly what ZB they're gonna get by like
yeah
inspection.
like
It's like, what?
yeah it's
Yeah.
oh dude I'm like really we're definitely getting a sub two at some point. Like
Oh
someone's gonna
yeah,
want like
dude.
F2L plus LL skip, and it's gonna be
It can
like
happen like tomorrow.
the
I'm not like anybody. Like there are a few people who could get a sub
Yihang
two.
has a 196, right? But it was like fake scram.
Yeah, it like a lot of those just don't count though. Like Smart Cube and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yihang definitely
Well,
has a sub two. He just doesn't
I know
tell
people were
anybody.
like screenshotting Ruhong's like session being like, I think he has like a sub two in his 3x3 session.
He probably just
Like,
doesn't
but
tell
people
anybody
people
about
were
it.
like,
Yeah.
they were like enhance, trying to like see the time list.
Oh, he definitely
Like,
has like sub four average, ridiculous stuff. He just not gonna tell anybody about it. Like all
yeah,
those cubers in China and stuff like that. Didn't Yihang say in like his interview or whatever? I don't know if it was mistranslated, but he said like his fastest average was like 3.7. I'm like, no way.
yeah.
So,
I mean, well, he has what 3.8 on cam. Like,
oh yeah, he definitely has like a low
yeah,
three average or whatever. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
like, yeah. The way Zhuanyi does, Timon says that Zhuanyi is the best inspector in the world. By the way, like
I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, if
I
he's
saw the
saying that,
video
that's pretty ridiculous.
with Yihang, and I was like actually blown away because I know Yihang is good at inspecting, but like
Right.
getting cooked like hard, like
Yeah.
pretty hard was like it. I was I was gobsmacked.
What do you think they're doing? Like, what are they doing over there? Like, what's the
I
training?
look.
What
I
are they
think it's
doing?
like I think a big part of it is that they're just like younger. Like they're younger and they are so like they are able to build stronger neural pathways
Yes.
because they started cubing at a younger age. So like it's like learning a language, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you and a 5-year-old win against each other in like a language learning contest, the 5-year-old cooks you every time.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
if their language is just how the cube moves and they know it like front to back.
Yeah. And the AUGs. Like, it's so much easier,
Yeah,
probably.
like their ZB recog is like again same thing. Like
Oh my, yeah. Like,
yeah,
I just watched, like, them recognizing, like, an age case. It's ridiculous. I don't know how it's even humanly
yeah.
possible. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, dude.
It's coming to a point. You just,
It's insane.
like, what can Yihang even do then if he's kind of cooked if we're, like, that's a ridiculous thing to say, but,
Hmm.
like, if we go, like,
No, I
10
think
years in the
Zhuanyi
future,
like yeah, definitely.
it's like, what can
Zhuanyi
you
just
do?
got he was on the tech earlier, bro. Like he just has more reps than you, and he will forever
Yeah.
have more reps.
Dude, it's like, what even is cubing then? Like, like, because you can't get into it when you're like 9 or 10. You have to just be preset. You're cubing for the rest of your life. Like, what is this?
I mean, yeah, like I mean, there are still people like you can do it. Like I mean, I started when I was 10, and like I had, so much free time, and like I improved
Right.
pretty quickly, but
Yeah.
it's nothing compared to like what the kids are doing nowadays. Like they're starting at half the age I am or that I did, and then they are being coached on how to improve. Like imagine if you learned how to solve F2L with the understanding of like EO and
Oh,
like
dude, just
you
from like the
were
very beginning, yeah.
all yeah, like you were always taught that. Like you were always like everyone was always critiquing your decision making like from since the time you started. You would just like always find the line. Like
Yeah.
it it's like it just wouldn't even be a thought to you. You would just like understand it.
Yeah. That's where with me, I was like, I never questioned that like at all. Like, it's not even like a concept I really use in solves. So
Yeah.
if you were like immediately just hooked up with that, like that's ridiculous. You have everything already installed because you're being coached, obviously,
Yeah,
from a very
dude.
young
They
age.
got the Neuralink, bro. They got the Neuralink early.
Yeah, exactly. Who
They
even is
installed
their
all the
coach?
cube knowledge.
Like,
I
what do
don't
you
know who their
mean?
coach is. I was at Worlds and like it was honestly kind of crazy because it was
Yeah, what
like
was
we
going
would
on
show
there?
up to the venue and there was like nobody at the venue, but there would just be like a Chinese flag that was on a table already. Like no one was in the venue, but there was a Chinese flag on the table reserved for them.
The Kobe
And then it would
mindset,
just be
yeah,
like
like
a
right
bunch of
there.
these kids on the GAN Smart Cube app and like two like older guys over them being like, okay, yeah, good, good, yep,
Bro.
yep. And I was just like, this is insane.
I need to witness that, dude. That's ridiculous. No, like,
And
yeah,
dude, like
it's, it's the Mamba
in
mentality.
Nations Cup, we went against China one, right? Like me, Patrick,
Yeah,
Samir,
yeah, yeah.
and like what you don't see is that like behind the stage, everyone that is like facing each other is like next to each other. They're face to face, and
Like
like
behind the stage, everybody's
we
like, it's like really close to each other.
yeah, yeah, everyone's like on the same side, like just at the waiting area for like whatever, just like
Yeah.
doing solves and like uh the whole time they were back there, it was like what Yezhen, Bofon, Yihang like doing solves. Like they were constantly in a line doing solves, and their coach was like, "Go, go!"
They were in a
Telling
line
them and
doing
being like,
drills, bro.
"Dude, no!" They were in a line, like sitting down doing their stuff, and it was just like
What?
they were going crazy. They take it so serious. Like
Oh my. Yeah, it's
and then
way
like
more
Yihang,
serious than it is here. Like not
dude,
even
no, I
close.
know. Like I don't. I mean,
That's
dude, I don't know
that's
if you just saw the
wild.
Carrie Huang video that he uploaded where he was doing like best results for Cuber like by
Oh,
year. So like
yeah.
it was like a visualization of like top 100 results, but
Uh-huh.
China, specifically like Yihang and Ruhong
Doesn't
have
Yihang have like 50 or
47.
something?
Yihang has 47 out of the top 100
That's
3x3 results
ridiculous, dude.
by himself. And like China comps consistently you will lose with like a 5.8 average.
Dude, that's yeah. That's insane.
And
Yeah,
like
because
5.8 in the
it's
US is like
well, yeah, 5-8 you're winning easily. Any
7th,
local comp,
8th.
not even close.
No, yeah, like yeah. So
Yeah, like second
it,
place for most comps I go to is like 8, I think.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm from Louisiana. Like,
Yeah,
our third place, like, we have Terry. Terry's pretty good, but before
yeah,
Terry was pretty nice. It was like, like 10-second solves, 10-second averages were podium, which is
yeah,
like,
yeah.
clearly not the same as what China has. So,
Oh my, I don't know. Yeah,
yeah,
whatever they got going on over there, it's ridiculous. Like they
yeah.
just
I,
it's
I
just-
really want to like take a trip and like experience it. Like,
yes.
obviously, I don't speak the language, and like, it would not be like
That'd be
the way they
interesting.
have it, but like
Yeah.
I just want to see what they got going on. Although I feel like they're super secretive about
Oh, they wouldn't let you know
their
what's going
teachings.
on. Yeah, they would
Oh, dude,
lock you
no,
out,
yeah,
bro. You're not getting
that's the
out.
Krabby Patty secret formula, dog. Like they're gonna
That's
get
what's
me.
happening. That's
Like,
like that's what they did. Yao Ming or whatever. They bro.
oh, dude, they genetically engineered Yao Ming.
Yeah, that's like a terrible story, bro. I watched the Mike Korzemba video like 8 years ago.
Dude,
It's like
oh my
scarred
God,
by as a child.
I've used that Mike Korzemba video to talk about the way the Chinese cubers take
Oh my,
cubing so
it's the
seriously.
exact same. Oh my.
And I think it's hilarious because I'm like, yeah, dude, like, yeah,
Yeah,
Yao Ming's parents were like chosen to like have him because they were the tallest in the country, and it's like,
dude.
yeah, bro,
They
they
literally
are about the
modified him
win.
genetically. It's because they
Yeah, they
knew
like
they
gave him
had to
his
be like.
special smoothie every day. Yeah, they were like, dude, you got to be 7'7", bro. Like, we need you to
They're like we have
hit
to dominate all of the balls, the major
the
sports
three
or
ball
whatever.
sports. Yeah, like
Yes,
what soccer, volleyball, basketball.
yes.
Yeah,
And then they just
yeah,
created him. They had him like running like until he died or whatever. It's ridiculous.
yeah, bro. Yeah, it's insane. So
It's
like, I know they take that stuff so seriously.
yeah.
Um,
I think it's like Roy Hung on the more casual like, oh, I just cube because I figured this out and I wanna
yeah,
this is something I enjoy. Versus
yeah.
like, oh, you're cubing now. Maybe they like it, maybe they don't. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
what it is.
Dude, I
So
love Ruhong. Ruhong was like so chill.
yeah,
I didn't get to talk to him much, but at Worlds, like,
yeah, he
yeah,
seems
we
like
were
a pretty
warming
chill
up
dude.
for our Nations Cup thing, and then he came up behind me, and I was like, oh my gosh, Ruhong Shu is right behind me. He's watching me solve, and then like
Yeah.
I turned around, I did a solve, I turned around, and he's like, oh, I'm just watching, and I was like, okay, and then I was like so nervous. I was like, okay, and then he just
Yeah.
dipped, and I was like, okay, well,
Uh,
you seem nice.
how much English does he speak?
Um, I think he speaks more than most. Like,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. He probably could
You have
uh
conversation.
like hold a conversation a little bit. Yeah, I know he asked about Brian Johnson for a photo. You
Yeah.
know Brian Johnson's like super poppin' in China.
No
They
way.
love him over
What?
there.
He's like Clay. He's the Clay
Swear, dude.
of cubing.
Dude, Ruhong went up to Brian for a photo. He was like, can I have a photo?" Like,
It's funny.
dude,
No, I want a photo with you,
yeah.
bro.
No, literally.
I want a photo with Ray.
Yeah,
Bro.
Ruong's my goat, dude. I really think like he is definitely like equivalent to Yihang right now. It's just that he's taking school very seriously and like
Oh yeah.
he can't really
Keeps
isn't
saying
really
that, right?
competing like
Yeah.
and like the one time he has competed like it was like WR2 so like
Oh yeah, dude. He needs to compete more. He competed like once every 3 months or something. It's like if he had more
yeah.
reps in comp, it's like it's over.
I mean yeah, it's not even like yeah, he just needs rounds like
Yeah.
I'm sure he competes fine. And that's another thing is like the Chinese cubers, I don't know how they compete so well.
Yeah, they don't
Like
get nervous like at all. Like Yihang in
I think it's
Worlds
the
a little
young
bit.
child buff. Like
Yeah, maybe.
unironically, when I was a kid, I did not know how to calculate my average of 5. Like, I was like 11 years old and I didn't know how to calc my AO5. So I did not know if I was pacing or not.
That's
So I
crazy.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, like, oh, I got a good solve. Nice, good solve. And then I'm like, oh, another good solve. And then, like, I just would not think any deeper than that. And I think
Yeah.
that's, like, legitimately how they are. Like, there are so many young children that, like, young children, whatever, but, like, there's
Yeah.
a lot of young kids that
Uh-huh.
they they compete, they solve way better than they do at home in comp. Like Timofey Tarasenko is a really good example of this. I don't
Yeah.
Timofey, I'm pretty sure his 33 mega average was like overall PB at the time. Like, you know,
Yeah.
his 5.3 3x3 average, like he says he doesn't even have sub 5 at home, like on his sheet.
Mm.
Like he
That's
probably does
crazy.
now at this point, like but like the
Yeah.
younger you are, like I think you just have that like buff. Like
Yeah.
Brendan Dunnigan was a really good competitor, and like you know, I think as you get older, like your mindset
You
shifts, and like
overthink more
you know,
things, I think.
yeah.
I think you get all the
So
good without the bad when you're really young competing. Cuz you get
exactly, yeah. You have all the time. You don't really take it that serious. Like you just want to have fun with your friends. Like you're fast. Like you do better than you do at
yeah.
home. Like it's you know you're learning
Yeah.
ZBs a lot easier. It's like
Yes.
everything clicks for you when you're young, and then you
Yeah.
get old and
And
it
then
all
just in
falls apart.
competition, like I have never seen Xuanyi or Qishen like really lock up that badly in comp, or
Yeah.
just like get nervous at all.
Yeah,
Cause
I mean,
like,
like even I'm pretty sure Shishin's like PR average. She has a DNF on Solve 3. Like,
yeah,
like
that's a
she
crazy
has like
clutch too.
counting like
Yeah,
4 or something, or like counting low 5 after
yeah.
Solve 2, and then like DNF. If that was me, dude, I oh my
Oh
god,
yeah,
I would be
yeah. At
freaking
that
out.
point, yeah, you're kind of cooked. You gotta like, yeah. With me, that's the same a lot. Like, if you have a really good BPA, you have one chance to get it. Like, that's not gonna be a good solve. Let's be
Yeah,
real. But
and
if
like
you're,
I
yeah,
don't know, like recognizing my pace like always kills my average. Like,
yeah,
and it's really hard not to recognize it, right? It's like that's just something you have to like deal with and like sit in and like just get better at. But that's like
yeah,
super hard.
yeah. Like, not think about what solves you just got. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just not being aware of what's going on. It would be like amazing.
Yeah, like the more I compete, the more I realize that Max was kind of spitting when he was like, "Don't think, just solve." Like
I mean, yeah,
it's kind of corny, but
it's
like
true.
if you only consider like, oh, what do I do on this solve to make it as best as it can be? That's like all you really need to think about. It's like the same thing as like basketball, right? You airball. Like if you think
Yeah.
about your airball going forward, you're
Right.
cooked.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
You know,
You
shooters
can't think
gonna
about
shoot.
which step.
But
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, is that?
yeah,
Do you think how good is Timon with nerves comparatively? Because I think he's like probably the best aside from them, at least like
Yeah,
at
like
his
non-Chinese
age.
Cuber. Yeah, yeah. I think Timon handles nerves like really well.
Yeah.
Like I've been talking to him a little bit more recently, and I was like, dude, I don't know how you like how do you count a 4-1 after solve two, and then you just like continue to do
It's
well.
still locked in.
I
Yeah.
don't like what do you like?
Yeah, that's
It's
insane.
insane.
Yeah, I guess that just comes with like how many high pressure situations you get, and you just get used to like
Yeah,
messing up. But
dude. Theodore calculating. Yeah, someone said Theodore calculating Timon's recent PR. That would have made me
oh
so
yeah,
mad. I would have actually oh, dude. I would have if
oh
the little
yeah,
kid in the bucket hat told me what my BPA was, and he told me that I didn't get PR, but my BPA could be.
you're like
I,
point one off. Oh
uh,
my, yeah,
yeah,
dude.
he's like, yeah. So you have to like get a solve better than one you've already done.
Dude, that would
It's
mess
over
you
for me,
up,
bro.
bro. Yeah, dude, that'd be terrible. I don't know how he just like takes that and he's like, okay, let's just get a five flat. Like,
Yeah, he was like, oh really, and then just did it. Like, bro, I don't understand.
dude. Yeah, and it's not even like he messes up that many averages where he has good BPA. I
Yeah,
don't think
like
he really does.
I mean, I think there are like I there are some averages where he's been like, oh, dude, this could have been really good, and like you just don't hear about him because it's like
Yeah,
whatever, and like even when he does mess up a good BPA, like it probably was still like a good average. So
yeah, that's
like
true.
you
Yeah,
don't think about it as hard, but yeah,
That's-
like even I've had averages where like even though I'm not Timon, but like I've had averages where like on paper the average looks super bad,
uh-huh.
but the average was like actually PR pace or something. Like it was actually like really good,
Yeah,
but I had a mistake here, this happened, whatever. But
hmm
yeah,
yeah,
so sometimes it's kind of misleading, like how it looks, like on live or whatever.
yeah. There's definitely a lot more than just whatever the numbers are.
Yeah,
But that, yeah, clutching that is insane.
yeah. I mean, bro's just different.
Who do you think would have won Worlds 2021? That's like, I was writing about that because
Oh,
I was like
dude.
making a video about the Schwanyi solver or whatever, and I was going back to
Yeah.
whatever that was with Leo and stuff.
hmm
Who do you think would have won that?
Um, I think Timon wins, like for sure. Like I think that's peak Timon, like fresh off like Monkey League wins, and I
Yeah,
think he's at his peak there. Felix is a little. That
yeah,
was like when Felix kind of started slipping, and I
uh,
think like
yeah. Just everybody else getting better. Yeah,
yeah, I think Timon very clearly wins in my head.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, it
maybe
would have been
Ruhong
interesting.
wins though.
Yeah,
Like it's between him and Ruhong, I think. Like who
it's
wins
probably just
that?
scrambles then. If yeah, because dual CN, and then you have Leo's also CN. Actually, like
Yeah,
3 out of the 4 main competitors would all be CN. Maddie, Leo, Timon. And Timon was a lot
yeah.
more
I
like
mean,
heavily CN than that.
yeah, for sure. Timon's definitely converged on the dual CN
Yeah.
train. Maddie still is like
He's
CN
straight up,
CN, and so
yeah.
is Luke Garrett. Like
Do you think
there's
they're
still
the
some
best two in the world, aren't
like
they?
pure
Right?
CN solvers.
There's not yeah, there's nobody else. It's like Max does like 4 colors, but it's like
Yeah, not full CN. Like even Felix wasn't even full CN for real. Like revisionist
yeah, there
history, everyone's
was
like, "Oh, Felix is CN." I don't
there
know. If
was
you
a
go
little
back,
bit of
it's like
bias.
he wasn't. Yeah, everyone has a bias to some degree. I think the people like I think Maddie has the least amount of bias. Like
I don't know. I don't know about that. Like,
CQDP.
do you really think so? Because I like, I think Luke just like learned just straight up CN like from beginner's method.
Mhm.
I don't like there are
I'm
a
pretty
lot of
sure Maddie
people
did
who's
too. I mean, most
yeah
people that like do CN 3x3 are like that. Like the only people I can think of that aren't are like Patrick. Patrick
oh
was
yeah
blue green.
uh-huh
And then after Worlds 19, he switched. He became CN within a week. That was
a
like I don't know if
week.
you were around, but that was like a huge thing where he was like, "Oh yeah, I just did like a bunch of solves in a week, and
Yeah,
now
I
I'm
heard he
CN
like
now."
he just brute force solves like instead of like doing.
Yeah, and it was like, "Oh, okay, Patrick Ponce is CN now."
He just said I think it was like a interview with Philip or whatever. He's just like yeah, I just solve for 8 hours a day in the summer and then like boom,
Yeah, he was like,
no
"Yeah,
problem.
I just did it,
Yeah,
whatever."
yeah. I just
I
didn't.
remember like when I was around that time, like we didn't know that dual CN was the meta, but when I was getting decent, I was like, man, like I need to learn CN because like at the time I like 2018, I had the fastest average with white yellow only,
Yeah.
like 6.7,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like I was like, okay, well now the next step is clearly CN. And then
Yeah.
I remember like I would be streaming or like I'd be doing anything and I'm like, yeah, dude, like I'm gonna be CM, bro. Just give me like a month. And then I
Yeah.
would say that every
It's.
other month. And like honestly, I'm glad I did it because I would have probably reverted back at this point.
Yeah, that is weird because then you would look back and be like, oh, there's really no point to do it. But
Yeah.
it would take so
Also,
long.
like I've noticed that people who start CN, like the people that I've been talking to who are trying to like get past like 7 seconds, I guess, like
Hmm.
who are CN, they're having trouble like dealing with bad crosses. Like that's the first. That's the thing I've heard from them a lot. Like
That's interesting.
Terry McAsey, like the second best Louisiana cuber, she's always like,
Yeah.
uh, well, for 3x3 at least, she's better than me in a bunch of stuff. But like, yeah, she's always like, yeah, I just don't know how to deal with bad crosses. Like if because she's trying to do dual CN and it's like,
Uh
I'm
huh.
they're so used to having like a decent start always. Like mathematically, you're gonna have like a you can have a decent start every time,
Yeah.
but when it comes to like, okay, I have these two options. What do I do to make this good? That is like
Yeah.
where things get really tricky for them, and like some CN solvers just like can deal with that, like or they can like find something fine, like always. Um, like I think Maddie and Luke are good examples of taking advantage of CN stuff, like we talked about. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it is hard to like start CN, and then if you don't pick up on some of like the necessary techniques you need to like be
Yeah.
more consistent with that
They're
stuff,
just
it's
like
hard.
evenly distributed throughout all the colors or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely CN's now meta for sure. Is Philip still the
Yeah, I mean,
fastest uh, white only? I think.
I'm
Didn't he
pretty. I
just get
mean, dude,
another PR?
six like low six white only is
It's
like
ridiculous.
insane.
Yeah, considering the
I
amount of
mean,
bad cases you
to
can
be
get.
fair, what Yihing's like WR average was white only, right?
Um, no, I think he did.
Or like
One of his
he's
472s
had
was
like
yellow, I think. I'm not sure.
he's had like sub five averages where he's done like only one cross color. So
Yeah,
like
it's just. That's
technically
also.
speaking,
Yeah.
it's just like you can do that. Like you could be sub five with like you
Yeah,
can have the capacity to get a sub five average only doing white.
yes. It's less consistent, but there's possibility if you get lucky. But also, there's added pressure if you get lucky because there's way less chances to actually do something with
Oh,
it.
Dom Radissi said his 586 average was white only.
Oh. Wait, so was Yihang's actually was his WR actually white only? I'm unsure if it was. I wonder
I
what the
thought so.
WR
Like
average for white only is.
for like single color only
Or
average.
yeah, whatever the color is. Yeah. There's probably at least low five.
Uh, would you say white yellow solvers are better at CM when they learn it though, because they've had practice with creative cross solutions? Uh, no. The thing with like creative cross solutions is like you need to have time to like inspect all your options, right? Which is why like you either like search CN for like the best start and then try to build off that, or you force yourself into two options and then try to build something out of that. Sometimes it'll be really easy, sometimes it's really hard, but like at least you have more time to figure it out. So like you can't always exercise like a lot of control on your solution if you take a lot of time to even find where you want to start in the first place.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Was it? I could like literally.
Uh oh, Yihang was white only when he got the AO5 that lost to a miscramble. I don't know. I don't like. The thing is, I remember the first time I really heard about Yihang being like crazy. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, he this average insane average that he did was white only," and I was like, "There's no way
Yeah.
this guy is the best in the world and he's white only."
Oh yeah. That
So like,
was
there's
what.
definitely some average out there that he did that was like
I think it
white
was.
only.
Was it the original 475 from Singapore champs?
That might be it.
Because that was when he got the miss scramble. The actual one that counted was the 491. That was with the
Okay.
weird timer stops or whatever. I think his
Oh,
first one that would have been world record was actually white only.
yeah.
Yeah. That was something ridiculous I was talking about where like his first average back he got a sub 4 like in his first average. Which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Dude,
It's like
yeah.
a 2 year
I
break.
think Yihang's what is it? His 386 like former NR
Mhm.
was like a really good example of like cuz the scramble doesn't look good, but Yihang just like sets up a really nice first two pairs and then
Yeah,
then
I
the
think I remember
continuation just
looking at
happens
that.
to be good.
Yeah.
So like that is like the epitome of white of like dual CN solves is like, scramble doesn't look that good, but you set up a really clean first two pairs and then
Yeah.
it ends up being like
Yeah.
a 3-8. Like
Yeah. Yeah. And he's really good at first two pairs for
also,
sure.
dude, like Zhuany's 3-5. I just watched it for the first time like yesterday.
Mhm.
It's so goofy the fact that he had what like
Left soon. It was
yeah.
sledge. You can. Yeah.
Oh
L.
yeah,
Yeah.
this
There.
this
There.
was
There.
the like this was the last slot. It is crazy to me that this guy was like, "Oh yeah, Bob," and then did left soon.
Yeah. You could just insert the. Wait. What even is
Like
the
just
case? It's
what do
ridiculous.
you mean, bro? Like that? Oh, dude, it's actually crazy to me.
Yeah. I don't.
Uh, cubing is cooked.
Yeah. Like, how do you see You see, you're getting all the corners. You're just like, nah. Because I guess
I
everybody
think it
just
was an
you just don't
AUF
know.
away. Because I think it was this one. Uh,
Oh yeah. Wait.
yeah, it
It
was
was
this.
the.
Because you do that, and then it's a U prime left soon.
Yeah. It was
So like
Hedge.
if you inserted it, okay, yeah. So, uh, yeah, it was this. So like
Oh, you insert it, you get like a really good OLO, right? Yeah.
you get this, which is like inverse, and then you get GC, which is like. But the thing is, like, you see this, you know what your oil is from last slot. Like, of course, there's like
Yeah.
no world where you don't just like insert and do hedge inverse sexy.
Yeah.
Like, it is almost
Even I know
always
that
the
like
play.
that situation there in the front left is like really really good because you're getting a block.
Exact.
So
But he
it's
was
like
like, no, I'm gonna do this into soon ZB. Oh wait, skip. Like,
that's just
buddy,
how it's
what?
programmed, dude. Like he always does ZBLS, so it's like he's never
Oh, dude.
gonna have to do a
They
regular
said
OLO.
it's hilarious to me that they like I don't know where I heard this, but I think it was like a coach. I don't know, but they said an OLL/PLL skip is a bad case for them. Like they don't want those. They're like, actually, no, please, no, please, give me
What?
ZB. They were like, yeah,
Dude.
we hope for no OLL skips, actually.
Really? That's wild.
Yeah,
No OLO skips. Yeah. They like you might as well just not even learn the other OLOs. It's just
yeah,
like
it's just like,
you would never insert into an OLO. You would just go straight into a EO solved. Because if your
yeah,
recognition is that good, there's no point to insert the pair and get an N perm, right?
yeah,
Like with an OLO skip,
yeah. You
there's
just
even a
try to get a
chance
ZB.
of that happening. So it'll be interesting to
Uh,
see like how long it takes for like E-hang solving style to get phased out. At least how much it can get
the
phased out or whatever.
the thing is like somehow Yihang is still better, and I don't like
Yeah,
Yihang is just
it's
the
just
best
F12.
turner and look ahead mix. Like
Yeah. I mean,
it,
if like
it's
what was Schwani? I think I saw Schwani's F2L on the 3.5 was like a
yeah.
2.6 or something with ZBLS
Okay, I want to
recognition.
say that I saw the exact same solution for that F2L. That was just a very straightforward case. Like
Well,
the
yeah, the beginning of
the
F2L was pretty easy.
Yeah, it was like a double X cross, but it was like diag first. It was diag first two pairs. His third pair
Yeah.
was like already solved, or like it was like one of these. So we did this insert and then like
That
something
was
and
the
then
yeah, that was the last pair because it got taken out of the slot. The third pair
exact yeah.
was split up, insert. Yeah, it was like real easy though. But I don't get the
Yeah.
recognition
It
for the last pair, and you still get a sub 3F12. It's like what?
yeah. I mean, I will say I used to do that ZBLS a lot. Like the this one's actually really nice. I do this for Olo skip sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you just like that. So like I used to do this every time I saw it. So it's really easy to recognize it, but like the fact that for that specific last slot you
Yeah.
already know what Olo you're gonna get, and the
Yes.
fact that you
Yeah.
can just be like, and it goes the same way, right? So it's like if you know what Olo you're gonna get, you can use that to tell you what like ZB you're gonna get every time you have that case. So
Uh huh.
like there's maybe a world where he's like, okay, I know I'm gonna get an anti-soon ZB, and he's like
Yeah.
already primed for that, which is like
Yeah. That's what you're saying. Like, it predict which CB you're getting, or at least which set you're
yeah,
getting. Like,
so that way you can like recog easier. And like we're gonna get to the point where it's like how we two-sided PLO recognition. People are already doing this, but like you should be able to recognize ZB from two
yeah,
different
it's
recognition
possible to do
angles.
that. Yeah, I didn't know that. That was ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
you can
like
do two sides ZB. It's
and like
like
I've noticed
what?
that sometimes where it's like for some of the ZBs I've known for a little bit, I can like I have information on the front piece, so it's like okay, I know it's in the back because I know like what ZB subset I have. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of experienced that, but being able to do that like almost every time you get a ZB, it would just like I don't know,
Yeah,
dude. Like
two sided for like a pie case is like OP.
yeah, it's like
Uh,
dude, I couldn't even imagine.
yeah, their recognition is already to the point where I think like they could start doing that. They've at least gotten a lot of those down. With like
Yeah.
you're doing like they probably just know it immediately from the orientation they have it at. Because I haven't
Hmm.
ever seen them like fumble with a U layer at all before doing a ZB. It's always just
Yeah.
U and then whatever it is. That's definitely like the meta now, which is sad, but there's really
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I I when I was cubing, like when I was at my peak, I don't think I would have ever seen any of this ever happening.
no, because it
It's
just
like
wasn't like you don't like
yeah,
that's not even like
yeah,
mainstream at all. You don't like you think okay, let's learn some ZBLLs because they're good cases. Obviously, it's like more efficient to do that.
yeah,
Not everything though. Everything is just like
yeah.
recognition is
It's like
terrible.
why would you learn everything?
Yeah,
Like
until you realize, oh, you can be 3 years old and learn everything. Now it's a language to
yeah,
you. Now you know what you're doing.
now you're fluent in cube.
Yeah, like think about it. Then like you get 10 years down the line, this is gonna be like optimized. It's exactly like what we're experiencing with AI. Like it's over.
Yeah,
You're,
I mean like yeah, it's crazy to think like I mean, we're only at the beginning of like the new cubing
yes,
renaissance.
this is yeah,
It will be to the point where like you have to know full ZB or else you will not be a top contender. Period. Point blank.
yeah. That's
Like
actually true, dude. If you really think about it, like just how a solve is. That's what it like. You're gonna just have to be doing one step for LL. Like that's the only
yeah,
way, and you're gonna have to know
and
it
the thing
really
is
well.
like Zhuanyi and Shishin, they aren't even like that good of turners. Like they're like they're like good,
Mm.
but th-
It's
it's
not
not like they're
Yihang
Yihang
levels.
doing this,
Yeah,
right? Like
right.
if they were doing this at 13 TPS, like we're getting consistent low fours.
Yeah. Like, if you get like one of those, like a kid that starts doing that, and he has Yihang levels of capability of turning, and
Yeah,
like it doesn't matter how big their hands are. You're turning at 12 TPS. Like you're gonna adapt to the cube. It's fine. And then it's like
yeah.
at that point, like the method is just completely changed. I don't think we've seen that like pretty much ever in the modern cubing era. There's like the
No,
main
yeah,
method
it's
changing. It's always just been CFOB.
yeah. Someone said it will be CFZB. Literally, like actually true.
ZB, like yeah, that's literally what it's going to be. You
There's
like
gonna be like a summoning salt video talking about like the history of cubing, and they're gonna be like, yeah, so they used to
yeah,
do OLL PLL. I don't know what that is.
it's like really really inefficient to do. It's like why would you do that when
Like
it's 55 moves when you can just do 40?
yeah, the like
But
I don't know. Also, it's just like, uh, is it like it's? I always thought it was crazy that they don't know OLL PLL, but like it's
I
really
mean,
not. Like it's worth it for them to never learn that. If
yeah, might as well just
and I
do
wonder
ZB and get
like
reps with it.
yeah, exactly. Like if you know you're gonna do a ZB every time, like
Yeah.
you'll just be better with it, and then over time it's just gonna be faster no matter what. And like even like the really bad ZBLS cases, you'll still be able to, you'll have reps with those enough to where
Yeah.
it's like not even that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And just like the amount of like the move count that they have is just such an like absolute advantage. Like
Yes. Yeah.
the fact that Yihang has to work so much harder, like
Uh huh.
not even that like you
Yeah.
know he turns very well, but just the more turns you do is the more amount of chances that you will mess up, right?
Yeah.
The margin of error becomes so much higher or so much lower for you whenever you're doing like 13 TPS solves, right? So it's like, of course, being able to rely on
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you're more efficient in the last layer is like huge.
Yeah. If you like, yeah, if you already know you're getting a ZB, it's ridiculous. Do you think that they just like only learned a ZB method? They never like
I think so,
it's
like
just straight
legitimately,
beginner's
because
method. Like you just go straight to ZB.
yeah, they learned straight F2LZB because like if you remember the post from Yihang's mom, she was like, "These two cubers are gonna shock the world tomorrow," and it's
Yeah,
like,
she
why
probably
haven't they
already
competed
knew
yet?
they were like right there, ready to do whatever they're.
Yeah, it's like, why haven't they competed yet? It's because they've been learning ZB every day, bro. Like they
Yeah, there's
can't
no
solve the
point.
cube until they finish learning ZB. What do you mean?
That's so funny. Yeah, there's no like trial and error. It's just straight up like you're doing this. This is what it is, and this is the method that you're using. And yes,
And
there are
like
800 hours,
if
but
and I don't know if that's like their coach's mentality on that, or if that's like what China cubing is going to now be like as a whole, where it's like any new prospect that comes out is going to be like
yeah, there's no way
full
you again.
ZBLS ZB.
No,
Like,
they're not teaching anybody straight CFOP. There's no way. Like, there's just no point. If you're actually gonna like commit them to doing cubing in the long term and like grinding, yeah, there's no point to even learn CFOP. I mean, like
yeah,
OLPL. It's just like why not just do straight up
yeah.
ZB
Like
from the
I
very
think
beginning?
yeah, because I think like Olapila will be phased out. Like, because even in like Timon does full ZB, but he still does Olapilo, and like there's OLCP stuff you can do. But
Yeah,
at a certain point, it's like, is it worth it to me if like some of my some of my OLL cases, the best way to approach them is to do EOZB, then why would I not just EOZB everything? Like
yeah,
I think
yeah,
OLPL just gets phased out. Like it's just never worth.
yeah. I don't think there's really no argument for it if you can just do ZBLS because you're always getting the
Yeah.
same thing, and then you're getting way more reps with that anyway.
Hmm.
It's just like, yeah, it's gonna be phased out for sure. It's just gonna be straight up CB. That's where like the skill cap gets so much farther. Because anybody that just like wants to learn how to cube, there's gonna be a big
Yeah.
like gap between world class and just
Yeah.
like you get down to averaging like 7 maybe 7.6 with regular base CFOP. At that point,
Mm.
you're gonna need to like go to whatever that method is that they're doing and just like do that. It's kind of depressing, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like
And like I mean I see the writing on the wall. Like I feel like I already feel like a boomer in the cubing community.
yeah,
And like
yeah. I
cuz
think
I
by
mean dude,
you're just
I've been cubing half my life. Like
yeah,
it's actually insane, but like I know that if I do not actually start taking ZB seriously, I will like
Yeah,
get phased out.
that's
Like
that's
that's just the reality of it.
yeah. You're
And it's
like,
like,
it's
is
just
it worth
no.
it to me to?
But at the same time, then it's like a sense of hopelessness where even if you do try to learn ZB, you're never gonna have the amount of reps. You're never gonna have the neuroplasticity that they do.
Hmm.
So it's like, how much can you really do? I mean, you could always just sit there for 12 hours a day doing ZB, but you're not going to be better than a 6-year-old who's learning how to do ZB.
Yeah, I mean
So like,
they'll have it down. Like they'll obviously have better reps. Like maybe I can make up that difference at some point, right? Like
hmm
if I have it down, I have it down. But they will like their recognition might just be better. Their prediction skills might just be better. Like they're more familiar with these things. Like I might be more prone to mess up, like stuff like that. They will just always have a slight edge because they have learned it at a younger age and they have more time with it, and
yeah,
it's just like second nature to them.
yeah, that's like depressing to think about. Then how are you even supposed to get into cubing then if you're not just like, you can always just do it for fun, but if you actually like want to be competitive and you know
Yeah.
whatever, it's you have to do that at that point.
It
800
like
hour commitment.
I think like to be the best at 3x3, it'll probably get to the point where like you can't do other events. That's also another thing is like the Chinese kids like only really do 3x3, so it's like they're like putting way more time into this event solely compared
Yeah,
to like
they
the
do like you're only doing they don't do like any other events. They have like their own, you know, kids that do Scube, but
yeah. It's like
it's
they're
not.
very specialized, right? Where it's
Yes,
like
yes,
it's gonna get to the point where it's like there's just so much demand. Like
yeah,
it'll be so demanding to get good at a certain event that you just cannot afford to give time to another one.
yeah. I think Yihang was like the first, you know, is like a test run to see how far can you really
Crossover.
take it, and then he starts learning like Pira 2x2, automatically world class at that. But
Yeah, he's
you're
like,
taking
dude,
away
he's
time
like
from
sub
it.
to it Pyrrha. Like,
Yeah,
Yang is sub to it. And also, like, Ling Kun, best Pyrrha mixer in the world, is like 6'2 on 3x3. Or no, he's like sub 6, I think, now.
yeah, yeah. He's
It's
probably
like,
global sub 6. It's ridiculous. It's like what is even happening there? But then might as well just do only 3x3 because there's no point to even practice anything
yeah.
else. You're the
And like,
3x3
3x3 is where
king.
the money's at. Like, in the cubing
Oh,
economy, like, you
yeah.
are rewarded
That
way
also
more
brings into
heavily for being
question
good at
like
3x3.
the future of whatever that is of
Oh, yeah.
streaming and
Well, I
stuff like
mean,
that.
dude, WCA needs to. I don't know. WCA makes me mad, dude. Like, we.
We need to start like going for it, dude. Like, what are we doing?
We need the GAN SSL format to be a WCA competition.
Yeah,
We like
yeah.
it needs to be like
Spectator
a
friendly.
streamable thing head to head because I think watching like cubers just like do an average is not very intuitive to the like to the normal
Yeah,
person, but if you watch two people race, you're like, oh, this guy did it faster, and you're like,
yeah.
that was cool.
Right.
Like that's all
That's
that
what they
really
did with the
matters.
Red
And
Bull
it's
thing.
like,
It was just so much better. It just makes more sense. Two people
yeah, like
race.
the format needs to be like a head to head bracket. I think tournament style head to head bracket more similar to like a fighting game type deal, like
Yeah,
Smash Bros type thing where
yeah,
it's like double elim stuff like that is gonna be way more hype. You can build storylines, like
yeah,
it'll be cool because then it'll be like because like the Yihang Timon finals at GAN SSL was like the most hype
yeah.
cubing event I've like ever seen.
Yeah, and it's so easy to know what's going on even if you don't cube. But then it's like at the same time, if we're going into the new meta or whatever, like I feel like we kind of missed our chance to really do it. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
mean,
where there was a lot more parity, I feel like now if we keep going in this direction, who just is gonna out of pure joy for cubing or whatever that is gonna learn full ZB, full ZBLS, stuff like
yeah.
that.
I mean, yeah, it is tough because like I get that cubing is just like a hobby to some people. Some people don't really take it seriously. Like they just want to have fun, cube, chat
Yeah.
with friends or whatever. And like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying we have to get rid of the current WCA format. I'm just saying like we can add on to the fact that like we can do like 4 brackets a year. Like do it to where it's like a season, like NASCAR or whatever. It's like you attend these races, you place well, you get points,
Yeah.
you qualify for this
Yeah.
thing, and then this thing is a different format, and it's like, okay, well, who
Yes.
are we crowning the champion? Like, this is what we should be doing for like Southern Champs I have coming up, and
Uh-huh.
it's just like who wins 3x3 finals is the way to do it, but
Yeah.
it should be like, okay, get the best people in the South, make them all go against each other, and then whoever wins wins, instead of it
Yeah.
being like, a 5 solve thing that determines everything,
Yeah,
right? Like,
like 3 rounds, like we don't really know what's going on. That's why it's so hard to stream it. It's because like sometimes we don't even have the camera on people who are fast. It's like okay,
no, like Antonio Cam got a
yeah,
6-2 in Worlds Finals at
yes, I
OH, and
remember
it was
that.
not on camera.
It was
Like,
yeah,
how does that happen?
it was ridiculous, dude. Like a lot of the times, yeah, I don't know who they had on camera, but it was not like somebody who knows who was fast.
Yeah, and Worlds was a whole nother deal, but
Yeah, it's frustrating to watch that. That's why it just needs to be. Why don't we just have 2 people racing against each other? There's one camera, you put it right there. Tension, boom. There's everything you need in a
and I mean,
spectator
like,
sport.
it's been proven that it works. Like the GAN tournament, I think was loved by like everyone.
Yeah,
Like,
and they have the things up on the
I,
screen. You know what's going on because the smart cubes are. You can see what the solutions are. Maybe if you
yeah,
are interested
and
in
like
that.
that's huge too, because like you can break it down to like a layman, right? You can be like,
Yeah,
kind of like in fighting games, kind of similar, where it's like commentators, you have like the people that are like, just giving you like real like analytical approaches for people that actually care about the thing really heavily, and then there's like
mm-hmm.
just the person talking to like the average Joe being like,
Yeah,
you can just constantly reiterate like, hey, to solve a cube you do first 2 layers, and it's like that's what this looks like, and then after watching it enough you'll be like, okay, well, he did first 2 layers and this is how he did it. He solved cross like this,
Yeah.
and this is good
And
because he made a better case here. It's like he did all this at 15 turns per second. It's
yes,
like
yeah.
it's
And it's
there is
easy
like
to
a
see 'cause
very
it's a cube. It's like it's colors.
yeah, it's like you're doing it in front of you. It's like there's a very set path forward that the WCA has been very
Yeah, and I feel like that's
like
just to be more
against approaching,
inclusive of we want new competitors, but at the same time,
which is
there needs to be some branch off
yeah.
of like
Yeah, like at this, I mean, if the WCA is to continue to like by serving the top of the sport,
yeah,
you are making it more accessible to people. Like
yeah.
just
That
because
just
you are
brings in
serving
more people
the
in general,
competitive,
doesn't it?
exactly. If there's more eyes on the top solvers, which is like at least what I care about, like
Yeah,
I care about the competitive aspect of it, like then more people are going to be watching, more people are going to be getting into it. If you like someone might have seen the GAN SSL thing and been like, oh dude, that was like super hype, like I want to learn how to solve a cube now or something. Like
yeah,
that's the thing that can happen.
yeah. I feel like that's way more effective than just come to a cubing competition and you know how to cube. Oh, we have more spots for cubers to compete now. Versus just
Yeah.
like I feel like that's the only real way that we can make like another jump towards more popularity of it to a point where it's kind of like what chess did in like 2020 where now you have all
like
these people just playing
the pod
chess.
champs and stuff. Yeah, and then I know what you mean.
It's very accessible. Like we need to like focus on why did that work. It's very accessible to everybody. You can just go on chess.com, you can play. I think cubes are decently accessible to people. They're like $10. And then you have the format of it's entertaining to watch the game because you know what's going on, and it's like
Yeah.
anybody can really understand it, So
I mean,
it's-
yeah, I like and then if you make it to where like just because it's a comp, like even if it's like kind of what this guy in chat is saying, like match play versus stroke play, like match play is like head to head, and then stroke play is like literally just like what a normal comp is, like best result wins or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you still have like a ranking system over like best results ever, stuff like that. But if you want to make it more engaging, like just because you are serving the competitive population of like cubing, like doing a head to head like style thing, it doesn't need to just be a comp. Like, you can then parlay that into like a spectator event. It doesn't need it. The WCA
Yeah.
seems to think that like if you are making a comp about like head to head, then they're like, oh well, you're excluding these people. It's like, no, we can
Yeah.
include them as like a viewer of this experience, and then that can be like a gathering of people in that sense, and then you
Yes.
can sell to like sponsors, have event, like, you know, you can make it like a big thing. Like the Pokemon North American International Championship or whatever is like in New Orleans this year, and like as someone who does not play professional Pokemon, I can still attend and then
Yeah.
like buy stuff at the Pokemon shop or something. Like Gan could have a
Yeah.
booth there, Moyu could have a booth there. Like, you know, there's like
Yeah.
there is a way forward to like scale it and make it something bigger than what it already is.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of obvious. Like the most entertaining thing to see is head-to-head final, because everything's like this guy's solving, then this guy's solving, or we do a race and make it even better, right? But like just
Yeah,
doing
like,
everything together is not like it's inclusive, but we could include those other people in a more general pool and then scale it forward to like the fastest people in the world going against each other. It just makes so much more sense.
And like, yeah, you make a good point with like, yeah, why is Worlds Finals head to head? Very simply
Yeah.
because it's more entertaining. Like,
Because-
why is that not what every comp is?
Yeah,
Like-
why don't we do that more? Like, or like even, what if we just move the worlds to like, you're just racing at that point?
Yeah, I have had so many times where if I'm talking to a non-cuber and I mention like, oh, I'm going to the national championship. In any other context, the national championship just going is impressive. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing, dude.
because like if you tell someone like I'm going to nationals for weightlifting, that means that you are like the best in your
Yes.
state.
Yeah.
Like you are one of the best in the nation to even be going. It needs to be like a more strict and inclusive competition, and like even just making it to the world championship should be huge. Like
Yes.
no one in the Olympics is like a bum. They are all amazing.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah.
you know, there are people that average like, I mean, not saying that any time is bad, but like, you know,
Yeah,
it's-
you can
it's
average
hard to
20 and
have
go to the,
a
and
sport-
go to the world championship. Like it's
exactly. It's like it's hard to
just
have
compete.
a sport work well when there is just like such a big gap there, and you are not serving either audience particularly like optimally.
yeah, yeah. It's also just like if I tell somebody I'm going to a cubing competition, they'd be like, "Oh, that's where people race to solve Rubik's cubes faster than each other."
Yeah.
But it's really
And
not.
like to a degree,
It's-
that's kind of what it is. Like,
Yeah, but it's
But-
not visually. Visually,
Yeah,
if you just
yeah.
walk in there, you're just seeing people, you know, you're just seeing people solving by themselves. Like, you know, you have a judge and stuff, but it's not something where you can have spectators there to actually see what is happening live. You're not going to know who wins until the end of the round. So it's like, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense what they're trying to aim for.
yeah.
I don't know.
Like I got into fighting games because I randomly got a YouTube video recommended to me, and it was like a Injustice 2 like tournament or something, and I was like, oh dude, what's this game? And then it was
Yeah.
like a 7-hour stream VOD, and then I'm just watching these people play, and like, I guess, you know, fighting games are like a little bit more like visually engaging, and like there is like at the, you know, base of it, it's like, okay, this guy beat this guy.
Yeah.
That's period. And then like you can go further into that. And like cubing is the same way, where it's like, okay, this guy was faster than this guy.
Yeah.
I think like following a format like that is like the best approach forward. Like you can do a lot with that.
Yeah, it's so easy to tell who wins. It's like, yeah, this guy solved the cube faster. It's not that hard to really just move forward with this. I don't think. And the format is something we need to think about at all. Just like go for it at some point. It's like,
Yeah.
what do we even need to do? Not a regular comp. That's not gonna work probably. But yeah, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully WCA gets better about it. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of my main thoughts.
That's what we need to do right now, if anything, with cubing. Is just try to make it spectator friendly. Because we can't always just keep it like this. Like it's at some point and at least try to make it more, you know, whatever. But yeah, chat. There's still people here, which is absolutely absurd.
Professional yappers, bro.
For real, dude. 3 hours is wild. That is a lot of yap. But yeah.
Well, yeah, man. Good luck on all your solves. I mean, yeah, feel free to message me if you have any questions on any of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Try to become dual CN and stuff like that. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Besides that, chat. Yeah, people were asking me earlier in the stream. You are slower than a 6-year-old. I don't know if we covered that, but yeah, we covered that for like an hour.
Dude, you don't understand how much it bothers me, because when you first started saying that, I was like, I'm not slower than a 6-year-old. And then the 6-year-old very quickly got better than me, and I was like, okay, dude, this kind of hurts.
This applies to everybody except for if we're just going off average. Maybe 2 people that have ever watched my video in life, my videos in their life.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
There's 10 people in the world that can say that.
Yeah. Now for single, like, no, like 4.
Oh yeah, like what, 4? Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, you are slower than a 6-year-old if you didn't remember. Yeah, this was a podcast. You need to do the whatever the ranking cubers stuff was, the Deep Cubing 3 podcast. We'll do that.
Oh yeah, Tots and Cubers of all time.
Yes. We need to see that video. But yeah. Thank you for coming up today, and
yeah, man, for sure.
Teach me how to cube stuff like that.
I got you.
I'll try to put that stuff into practice as well. And yeah, chat.
Yep.
I'll have another one of these with top cubers like Tim on or whatever. I don't know. That would be interesting to have somebody else as well. We might do that. I don't know. Cubing podcasts have a decent amount of potential to be good. If you get like really high level people in here, obviously it works. But yeah. I think that's finally gonna be it for the stream. This was by far my longest stream. We had a lot of stuff going on. Oh yeah, you did like a 2.5 before. Yeah, this is. Don't miss the stop stream button. I won't this time, chat. I will not miss the stop stream button.
You missed it last time?
I did, and it was, pretty embarrassing. I was like, is it stopped? I always like freak out for like 5 minutes after I stop the stream if it's not done, because I've heard all the horror stories of like, I don't know what you're doing after. Like,
yeah. I always make sure. I always have to check to make sure it gets uploaded first, and then I'm like, okay, I'm chilling.
Yeah. It's always rough to do this, and I haven't got doxxed yet, so I'm very lucky to be able to say that. Anyway, yeah, chat. That is about it. Yeah, maybe we'll get Luke or something. We'll figure it out. Graduation special. Yeah. Thank you for coming out today, chat. I don't know when I'm gonna stream next. Maybe like a week or 2 from now, and a video coming out soon. Depends on if people do really well this weekend. Then I might make a different video and change my mind, because that's what I always like to do. Anyway, yeah. I won't miss the stop stream button. Goodbye.